Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. Today's the 1st. It's March. It's 2026. And I've never done a pre-recorded StreamYard video before. But because my guest is from another country where he could say something that could get him arrested. Imagine that. We're going to pre-record it. So that's why I'm doing this. And you'll know who this guy is because he's awesome. He's one of my favorite YouTubers that I recently found. And he is called the Simulated Leviathan. And he's made some insane videos. And not only is he a videographer, he's also an author. And his book is called The Simulated Leviathan, How AI Will Crown the New Kings. And he published this, it looks like, in September 29, 2005. So I'm pretty stoked to have him on. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here, and I believe it's like 11 o'clock at night where he's at. So that kind of sucks. So I have to do this early. And again, I got to pre-record it, just so all is well. So let's see how this all works out. I've never done this before. We're going to cover some crazy things in this video, like some patents that I've recently found that are crazy. We shouldn't be surprised by them, but they're crazy nonetheless, because you know how, like for instance, Ozempic has the poison of a Gila monster, the only poisonous reptile, four-legged reptile we have in North America. They've decided to take the venom from this animal and trick people into taking it to lose weight. Well, when you're taking poison, of course you'll lose weight. So let's see. I just sent Rory the link. Let's see how long it takes before he shows up. So right now I'm going to hit pause. Okay. We are joined in the studio by Rory, who is the Simulated Leviathan, and he named his YouTube channel after his book. You wrote a book on how AI will crown the new kings. Dude, what prompted you to read this book? Because to me, you just popped out of nowhere. I found your channel. I believe YouTube actually suggested your channel to me, to be perfectly honest. You know what I mean? Which is a rare thing because you're a breath of fresh air. You know, like I said this recently in a video. I said, this guy, he doesn't have a lot of subscribers, but his videos are phenomenal, man. You're not doing what every American YouTuber is doing. They're all basically copy and paste. You know what I mean? The guys in the Middle East are the bad guys, and Trump is this. It's crazy. You actually seem to get it, and I couldn't believe it. And you're one of the few channels that I've come across where I've literally watched every single solitary one of your videos front to back, and some of them 2 and 3 times. You know what I mean? So what prompted you to write the book? Because the book came first, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, I think I used to be a conspiracy theory nut back in the day. Like
oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I lost my mind actually with it. I went a bit too far, I believe. But there was always this like puzzle piece missing. Like I felt like there was this puzzle piece missing. And I would say 3 years ago, I met up with these other YouTubers in Toronto, and they started telling me about these ideas of transhumanism and of Nick Land, particularly, like these, the dark enlightenment and accelerationist ideas. And I read up about that. And I was like, this is like the puzzle piece that I've been missing this whole time. And then since then, recently, I've been looking into it, and I decided to write a book because I kind of read a few things and I realized I feel like I know the plan now. So I decided to do that. And also because YouTube and social media online has recently, it seems to be taking a back step on censorship. I realized that now is the time I can actually talk about what I want to talk about online for now, as much as I can. I'm still very careful with it, but there's a certain like freedom at the moment. So I'm going to take advantage of that freedom as long as we have it. I wouldn't say we've got it for long. We'll see what happens, but yeah.
Well, before I hit the button and we started recording, this is the first time I've ever done a pre-recorded video, but because of where you're located, it seemed like to be the best idea. And it was actually your idea, because I don't come up with good ideas. I just try to take credit for them. But it's insane. It's insane. I don't know what it looks like from being where you live, looking at how Americans are reacting to this digital panopticon that's literally unrolling right now. People are actually paying money to help the government, like installing Ring cameras, for instance. You know, they did a big mistake during the Super Bowl, and I'm surprised people caught on to it, but that's the beauty of what you and I do. If we catch something and we put it out there, people see it and they start running with it. Ring decided that they were going to pay $8 million to run an ad during the Super Bowl saying, let Palantir use your Ring camera and we can help find your dog. They didn't say we can help find your children, your grandmother. We can find your dog, because right now we're finding up to one dog a day. Oh, so you're finding about 300 lost dogs every year. Sure, let me just give all my privacy over to Palantir. You know, what is it? What do people in the UK think of us? Do they think we're all completely retarded?
Well, I would say that we've got some jealousy of you at the moment, because in the UK, we have the most arrests for social media posts than any country in the world. You know, that's insane. Like Russia doesn't arrest people for social media posts as much as the UK. That's the kind of level we're at in the UK. So yes, we're building the panopticon, but like in America, you're doing it to yourselves by buying like wristwatches that test your heart rate, and your phones and everything's watching you 24/7. But in the UK, we've got more of a Leviathan type thing where the government is a top-down society, kind of. They want to bring in digital IDs and stuff like this. And one thing about that, actually, just to note about the digital ID stuff, they first tested that in Estonia, I believe, which is a very small country, and it worked well. And then they move it to the UK, and they're going to test it here. And they're going to test to see how well it works here. But the UK is always a testing ground for the US. Always. If they want to test something, they test it in the UK first. We're like the dummies for you guys. So anything that happens in the UK, you're just 5 years behind, or 2 or 3 years behind. That's how things work. So if you look at what's happening in the UK right now, it's going to happen to you soon, potentially.
No, we know that. We know that. And since they first started arresting people for Twitter posts, myself and lots of American YouTubers have been covering it and covering it and covering it, not just for the entertainment value. Because again, I've got about, 500,000 subscribers on all my channels combined on YouTube. I told you they gave me back my backup channels. They never gave my main channel back. But I'm not monetized. I'm not a good person to monetize, because I just say it like it is. But hopefully we know that they're watching us at all times. I mean, somebody or something is watching what I'm recording right now, even though we're not even live yet. You know what I mean? And I know that because I've uploaded videos to YouTube that the second I hit publish, boom, it's instantly hit. Instantly. There's no chance for anybody to even watch it yet, but they already caught whatever I did wrong. I used somebody else's content. I said some sort of a racial slur or some such, but they gave us you said in one of your videos that was the nuclear gods. We're going to hit on that video in a minute. You said that we've got some sort of freedom right now, or maybe you just said it now.
Yeah.
It's to feed the AI. They want to know what we think and what everybody in our comments thinks. This is an amazing time. People don't understand that technology is giving them the ability. It's giving them a very godlike ability, because they can be and see everything at all times. You know what I mean? They can react to what we think about a military strike in real time and adjust and stuff, and false flags. We've stopped a lot of false flags, even though those are conspiracy theories. We've stopped a lot of them, or had to have them recalculate and do it a different way so it wasn't so obvious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the digital dollar, yeah, that's come. They're already pushing it here. There's already a couple of states that are trial running it right now. So it's here now. And Iran had to get taken out for that exact reason, which I'm sure you're aware of. But
yeah. Well, the Iran thing is funny because it's so obvious. It's like it's so obvious. It's ridiculous. It's almost laughable. Like in my last video, I talked about how the centralized banking system must go on. It must absorb the earth. And when you look at the countries that have been taken out recently, what do they all have in common? Is they don't have a centralized banking system. Venezuela has lots of oil, but no centralized banking system.
Right.
It had to go. Iran is the same thing, you know? So, yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy watching how many fires they're setting. Like Americans, they cheer for, I mean, I'm a veteran, so I was always down for the flag. But not anymore, man. I'm actually embarrassed to be an American right now, to be perfectly, totally honest. They're setting fires. People cheer for wars that whenever we invade a country to give them democracy at the end of a barrel of a weapon, they cheer for it like it's a sporting event. These guys are setting it up so that these wars are going to make their way to America one way or the other, because now we have the red flag flying over Iran from their largest mosque, the red flag of revenge. We just took out 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗶, allegedly, because we don't even know if any of this is true. It could all be AI. Who even knows? But that's the story. We've got an awfully big border with Mexico, man. They're already warning that there's Mexicans putting improvised explosive devices on the border to take out Americans and et cetera. They're setting us up because the reason we get so much slack is because we're armed, number one. But I'll tell you what, I know they've got weapons that would make anybody's weapon useless. If they can mess with your mind with some directed energy type thing or whatever, and you can't figure out how to use your weapon, you're done. And I'm positive they have them. And as a matter of fact, Trump kind of halfway said they use that in Venezuela.
Yeah, the Venezuela operation was insane. If anything, though, I mean, as you're a veteran, you must have looked at that and gone, fuck, that is that's the craziest shit ever. Even when I was looking at it on my phone, I was like, do people realize how insane that is? Like, you could just take out a leader and grab him. It's like next level. And all the people that kind of like, they got nauseous and sick, and then they just walked in like, oh my God.
Severe headaches. They were bleeding from the inside. There was some sort of a microwave weapon of some sort. I'm sure I'll get hit with it sooner or later. So I'll be able to explain it better, I guess. But yeah, we've got weapons like that, because I haven't been in the military for almost 40 years because I'm getting old. 40 years, man. Desert Storm the first time around. And we had weapons back then that would freak you out. You know what I mean? And the only reason I know is because I was infantry, and they would test those on us so we could see how they worked, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah, Americans they do like to test things on their soldiers.
You bet.
I met a guy that had basically severe neurological problems because they tested vaccines on him like 10 years ago. And now he lives off a disability benefit from the American military, and he just travels the world. But it wasn't worth it because he's completely fucked up. But
when you go to basic training, especially when they were going to deploy us to Iraq, and it was supposed to be the mother of all battles. He's got 1 million soldiers. He's going to use chemical weapons. We didn't know what it was going to be like. They hit us with the gun, and the gun gave you, I believe it was 14 vaccines at once. And they said, after you get these vaccines, nobody has to do any training for 2 days because you're going to be incredibly sick, because we're going to hit you with all sorts of neurotoxins, all sorts of gases that they would use. We're going to give you a little bit so you'll be able to persevere. But
oh, nice.
It's a trip, man. It's a total trip. But I want to, now that I've got you here, I want to run one of your videos for a couple of minutes and then back up with what you said in the video with some proof that's only 30 seconds long and see what you have to say with that. You good with that?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Stand by. The only bad thing about not being able to live stream on YouTube like the old days is StreamYard is not really smooth, but I think I can do this. All right.
Am I coming across okay? Am I jumpy?
Oh, you're good to go, brother. You're good to go.
people in the initial explosion and 29 firefighters that were exposed to the core. They were directly exposed to the heat of the core. That was the death toll of Chernobyl. Now, the funny thing about this is, if you Google how many people died at Chernobyl, you'll get some crazy estimates, like insane estimates. Obviously, these estimates are talking about the after effects of Chernobyl, right? Greenpeace is the worst. They say 200,000 people died as a result of Chernobyl. And where did they get this crazy number, right? Where did they get this number? Well, here's something they could do, right? Here's something they could do. Here's what I introduced to you, Bill Gates' favorite book, right? How to Lie with Statistics. How to lie with numbers. See, what they could do, I'm not saying they did this, but this is what they could do, right? They could put a dot on Chernobyl, and then they could put a, 1,000-mile radius around Chernobyl, and they could say every death, every cancer death, every birth defect, every death that could be attributed to Chernobyl will be attributed to Chernobyl. And that's where you get these crazy estimates. Now, I'm not diminishing the actual deaths at Chernobyl, right? There were people affected by Chernobyl, and it's a sad thing when anyone dies. You know, one day the bell will toll for thee, right? One day the bell will toll for thee. So any death is bad. And there was an increase in thyroid cancer and stuff like this around Chernobyl. I'm not doubting that. But it might not be as bad as what we're being told, right? The fear-mongering of Chernobyl has been intense, right? And it gets strange when you look at Fukushima as well. You know about Fukushima? Probably the second worst nuclear energy disaster in human history. How many people died of acute radiation poisoning or acute radiation syndrome at Fukushima in Japan? How many people died because of that event? 0. How many people were affected by the radiation? 0.
Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. I see you change your shirt. Nice.
Yeah, I forgot to put it on, but I put it on now.
The story is the background story that we're not supposed to hear about. We're not hearing from the mainstream news. Is that Israel forced Trump's hand to attack Iran by saying if they didn't, they were going to introduce the Samson option. They were going to nuke them. So that's why everyone's like, that's why Trump had to do it. He didn't want to do it, but he had to do it because they were going to nuke them. And I'm like, well, the fun thing about that is we got a lot of serious weapons. We got things that can make big, big mushroom clouds, but they're not nuclear. What do you think of nuclear weapons? And be totally honest, because I've got the video clip of the scientist. So what do you think of nuclear weapons?
Okay. They likely, I'm 90% sure they don't exist.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
I wouldn't do like that's one of, see, in my videos you might notice that I say stuff, but I kind of like I like, for example, I basically, that clip that you just showed then, I'm kind of talking about the pandemic, right? But I don't come out there and say the pandemic. I say, if you wanted to bring a circle round and you wanted to maybe increase the death toll of some sort of pandemic, or you wanted to increase the death toll of something, you could lie with statistics very easily. That's the kind of thing I was doing at the same time. But yeah, nuclear weapons, there's something there, right? There's something there.
I'll tell you what, Fukushima, Nagasaki, and Hiroshima are two of the most beautiful countries you'll ever go visit right now. They're amazing.
I've been there. I was there.
But we dropped nuclear weapons on them. But you can go, and you could go there 30 years ago and they were beautiful. Yeah. How was that possible? What about the nuclear winter and you know what I mean? The radiation.
They rebuilt those cities within like a year. They were already like fully populated within no time. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Because that kind of goes away. That kind of takes away from the whole radioactive thing. And you mentioned a doctor in your video, and I got him right here. I'm going to show it real quick so you can comment on it after, if I can find it in a quick fashion. Got it.
You pour it out in the hand, and that's radioactive contamination. Is it radioactive? Yeah, it is. Very radioactive. Do I qualify as a controlled drain? That material that I just ate.
You are looking at scientist 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗍. He ate uranium on live television in 1985 to try and prove that it's harmless.
I didn't know that happened in 1985 on national television. I've always known that that was around, but they sure got rid of him quick. You know what I mean? And he didn't die from cancer either.
Mm.
You know what I mean? What do you make of that? Is that in your book by chance?
No, the book is about a completely separate thing that I haven't even talked about yet. Eventually I'll get round to that another time on my YouTube. But the whole YouTube channel, I'm building up to that. But basically, I remember what happened. I watched a Chernobyl documentary when I was younger. It's not the Chernobyl drama series that's very popular. It was a documentary on the BBC, and it was really scary for me as a kid when I watched it. But I was big into the internet even at an early age, so I was like searching things. And I remember the story of the divers that they swam basically through nuclear contaminated gamma radiation waste. They were told that they were going to die. There was no way they could survive this. By all logic, they should have died either doing the mission or shortly after the mission. And then when I found out that they were still alive, and also they lived well past the average life expectancy of people their age, I was like, how are they? What's going on here? And that sent me down like a rabbit hole at the time when I was younger. And everyone thinks I'm crazy. All my friends think I'm crazy when I start saying these things. But it's just like they say, of course nuclear weapons exist. Of course, nuclear fallout is really bad, and they say stuff like that. But at the same time, what about these cases where people are still alive and like him eating uranium, and he also swam in radiated waters and stuff like this. He did all these crazy experiments, and he didn't die. And it makes you wonder: are they lying to us? Can you really trust the government? Can you really trust these establishments? I would say no. And of course, who benefits from nuclear radiation being really bad? The oil companies. And it's the same Rockefellers and the bankers that were all the old money system, the old money. The people of the world order past 1914. They're the ones that benefit from that,
It's crazy, man. It's crazy because I'm almost 59. I'm 58 right now. So I've been around a while. I was born in the late 60s. We grew up with the, Russia. And I couldn't believe when I was in my 50s, I'm like, we're redoing Russia all over again. They were the bad guy when I'm a little kid, and then we got rid of them somehow. They went away or whatever, but now they're back. It's insane how they use these invisible threats so well. Terrorism. A guy in a cave in the most undeveloped country on earth just took down 2 towers in New York City. And then another building without an airplane. And then one airplane just completely disappeared into a small compact hole in the ground, 100%. And then one just happened to hit the Pentagon exactly where we were working on, so it couldn't get hit by a missile. It's insane how these guys do this. They're good at this. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. It actually makes me quite sad thinking about Russia, because I would say just a few years ago, before all this conflict, the bond between Russia and the rest of the world was getting stronger. People liked watching Russian television and streamers, and you had all the UFC fighters coming from Russia and stuff like this. And it was like this. It was like we were becoming friends again. We were ignoring that. And now, today, you've got people posting videos on X of Russians dying in the front lines. And obviously, that's a complicated conflict, kind of. But at the same time, posting people dying and saying, haha, Russian pigs, that's horrible to me. It always, I don't like that, because even like, I don't know, are you a Tolkien fan, Lord of the Rings fan?
No.
Oh, well,
I'm familiar.
Lord of the Rings. There's one part from Lord of the Rings, because obviously he talks about his experiences during World War I. And one of them is like Samwise Gamgee. He thinks about, he sees a dead enemy on the floor, a human. and he says he wonders what lies brought him here, and whether he was truly evil of heart, or whether, you know, it's like this idea of, is this guy really evil that's dead in front of me, or was he tricked into being here the same way as I was tricked into being here? And that's kind of the concept, I think, with Russia. I always feel like, do we hate these people, or would they rather be at home too? That's the kind of concept, I think. You know, I don't know.
I agree. I think for time immemorial, they've been using Israel or the Gaza as a testing ground for martial law weapons. Like what hurts human beings the most? I had to explain to people in videos years back how Gazan people lived. They're living in an open air prison it was horrible. You've got Palantir helping them right now, because I mean, no one's even paying attention to that anymore. It's no big deal because they're being attacked by Iran. I mean, they're victims again, unbelievably, conveniently, but unbelievably. They use that place, and I think they're using Ukraine against Russia. I think Ukraine was just to see how well they could use drones in real life to kill people, because you can pull up 15, 20 different YouTube channels where you can watch somebody get killed with a drone, a Russian soldier. And if you look at them, they're all in their 40s and early 50s, man. They're scraping. They said, I found some statistics that said over 1.2 million Russians have died in this Ukraine war. That's a ton of people, man. You know what I mean? And it's all stupid. None of it makes any sense. You know, and yet our government, you know, America, we're just going and stealing presidents in the middle of the night. That is so illegal. It's unreal. But hey, no one even remembers that because 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗄. Oh, and you don't want to remember that one? Cool. How about Iran? We just keep it rolling over here. You know what I mean? Every day there's something new. Being a conspiracy theorist, I need a whole crew of people now. You can't keep up. It's just insane. You know, amusing ourselves to death right now is happening.
Yeah.
So
it is kind of a mad time to be alive, though. Like, even like I would say, like, it's like every week there's something new, and it's just like, oh, it's a kind of a sick feeling. It's a sick way of feeling when you like, sometimes it's because it is kind of exciting, but it's also horrible at the same time. So it's like this conflict in my mind of like, you know, I don't know.
Well, here's on that where it's kind of exciting. You know, the thing I find I catch myself doing a lot, and I got to reel myself back in. I'll make a prediction of something horrible, and then it happens, and I'll be like, told you. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't say it like that, but it's pretty sad how you can predict pretty much anything, and chances are in the next week or so, it's going to happen. I mean, we're watching the New World Order roll in right now, and people still think MAGA, Donald Trump. He's a good guy. He's a friendly billionaire. You know what I mean? He got his money from a small country in the Middle East, not once, but twice. But that's okay. It's America first, right after Israel. And he said it. It seems like somebody named Adelson giving Trump's campaign $250 million, $250 million donation. Seems like that'd be a problem someplace. But nope. America, it's all good. Buy my Trump coin, my new Ether coin or whatever. Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's so crazy right now to be alive. And it's even crazier watching people that just don't think anything's wrong, that this is just the normal, it's just tech. What can you do? Technology. What can you do? Yeah. So is your news censored as bad as ours is?
I don't watch the news, so I wouldn't know.
Okay, neither do I, but I do know who owns it. So, I mean, I did a video yesterday where I looked up how many people that United States has killed in the last 20 years for democracy. And it was funny because it said 1 million plus and counting. I looked up Iran and I looked up Israel. I found numbers for America and Iran. Israel, all I could find was Israeli victims. Nothing would report how many people that have been killed recently or in the last 20 years due to Israel. So it's a weird, it's like they own the media. It's a weird thing, but I mean, that's crazy talk, you know, totally crazy.
One more thing about Iran, actually, which is funny, right? Did you see recently, maybe a week or two ago, they burnt a giant effigy of Moloch or Baal in the streets? Did you see this?
In Iran?
Yeah.
I had not.
Yeah, They built this huge. You know what Baal looks like? The bull-headed demon.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They burnt it in the streets, and everyone was cheering. Everyone was cheering to this. It's basically Satan, an effigy of evil. They burnt it in the streets, and of course, it had other symbolism on it: 666, the Star of David, and stuff like that. But they burnt it in the streets, and then 2 weeks later, they're getting bombed to fuck, and it's just like. That's kind of strange. It does make you wonder, who's the good guys? Is it the people burning effigies of Satan? Or is it, I don't know. I don't know,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I found it right here. This is insane. That is there's no confusing what this is. Why were Baal statues burned at Iran's revolution anniversary rallies February 12th, so it was just last week, during state-organized rallies marking Iran's 1979 revolutionary anniversary? Demonstrators burned large statues of the horned bull. What? Dude, yeah. I did not get the memo. I did not hear about that whatsoever. Isn't that what a strange coincidence?
They're saying that it's anti-Semitic as well, which is kind of funny. The idea of burning a Canaanite god that was the god of blood, basically a blood god, and then they call it anti-Semitic. That is funny to me. That's kind of funny. You got to laugh about it,
It's anti-Semitic is the new conspiracy theory. It's the new. I mean, it's amazing. You can't say anything, and our own country has passed laws in all sorts of states where you can't insure your home, and you have to have your house insured unless you sign a waiver saying that you won't protest against Israel. In Texas, a state that is literally big enough to be its own country, and it really could. They have their own gold, weapons, water, oil. They have everything they need, and the coastlines. But don't talk bad about Israel, because that makes sense. America.
Sorry, where do you live, Rich? Which state are you in?
I'm in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. I haven't been there.
I think if I
lived in America, I would probably live in Texas or maybe Florida as well, because Florida is pretty, like, during the pandemic, they didn't have any lockdowns in Florida, right? So probably there, yeah.
I'm in Nevada right now. I've been traveling for the last 7 months. I haven't been home in 7 months. I was just in Florida. The only bad thing about Florida, tactically speaking, if there ever was an event, it is a bottle. You're surrounded by water. There's only one road in and one road out. So they could shut it down quickly. But Florida, you got to, it's like the desert with alligators. It's so hot and humid and everything's poisonous and everything bites you. You got to be tough to live there. I'll tell you, I have a hard time, man. But I went
to see one of Tom Brady's last games when I went there. I'm a Ravens fan, so I went to see Ravens versus Tampa Bay in Florida. It was pretty good, but yeah. Sorry, let's get back to conspiracy theories. I'm going off.
Well, speaking of football, I got a conspiracy theory. About 14 years ago, I did a job. I worked for one of the New England Patriots. I'm not going to say his name, but he was the Tom Brady of the offense. Big fella. Big fella. And one day I just happened to say, how did Wes Welker have two hands on the football in the Super Bowl and then drop it? And he went, lot of money in football. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I said, but how did that happen? And he went, there's a lot of money in football. And I went, no. And he said, plus I'd rather live in Florida anyway. I hate Massachusetts. And right there and then I never watched football again. Ruined my life.
Especially now you guys have sports betting. You never had that before, right? We've always had that. Since sports betting, football's changed, I think. I've noticed maybe.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know.
Of course. And they're catching them here and there, The guys that, no pun intended, the guys that don't play ball, they get exposed for gambling. But I'm probably 6 minutes away from Las Vegas right now. Vegas used to be the only place you could go to gamble. And then they had, the Trump casino in New Jersey because Donald Trump had to open, a gambling place there. And now all of a sudden, gambling's everywhere. You can gamble at casinos in every state, even in Massachusetts. So Vegas is falling apart right now because you can gamble wherever you want. But now they've got gambling on, is Trump going to say discombobulated in his next speech? Let's gamble on it. You know what I mean? It's amazing because they're just doing bread and circus to the max right now. You know what I'm saying? You can gamble on your phones. You can gamble on cartoons. You can gamble about anything, and they want you to because they don't want you paying attention to the national debt that is just $48 trillion. And that's the number we see. Yeah. 48 trillion. Who do we owe this money to? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's insane, bro. It's insane. It's a hell of a time to be alive.
With that, it really annoys me because there's a lot of people that believe in the monetary system, the current monetary system. Or is it modern monetary system? I forgot what the term is for it now, but they think that, it doesn't matter if the country is 100% within GDP debt, and that's fine. And I'm like, okay, let's say, for example, the UK is 100% in debt to GDP ratio per year, right? Where does the buck stop? 200%? 300%? At what point does it break, you know? And they're like, don't worry about it. How much money can you print? And like I said in my video before, all this printing of money, where does the money go? It goes to these people it goes to the corporations. The same thing happened in the pandemic. They printed shitloads of money and the stock market went up. That's the system since 1914. They print the money and give it to themselves. It's the same. That's the system. But also back to when you said about Las Vegas, I don't know what you are. Actually, I feel like we're going to go off on different conspiracy theories now.
We can do that. It's all good.
You know the Mandalay Bay shooting thing?
Yes.
Yeah. I was there a couple of days later. I visited there when it was a ghost town. The window was still smashed when I was there. And I was online reading about how peculiar the whole thing while I was there. I was in a motel, which was the dodgiest motel in fucking Las Vegas. I was like, fuck me. I don't know why we went there. I think there was a guy threatening to shoot us through the walls when we were there. And that was kind of crazy. But I feel like that's another rabbit hole to go down. But I think we both know that something weird happened there, right? We both agree that.
There's a young YouTuber. His name is Coop, COOP. He did an extensive video on the Vegas shooting, and he's got the body cam from the responding officers. They show up to the room where the guy is, and the window ain't broke yet. The shooting's already happened. The window ain't broke yet. You know, it's just the whole story is ridiculous. People that were there were like, there was helicopters strafing the crowd, you know. It's the whole story. I'll send you a link after this to that video by he's a young kid. But he must be on Adderall or really autistic, but he's a hell of a researcher. He's found some crazy stuff, you know. But yeah, there's so many of them. Whenever pressure gets too big, they'll just do something. They're like bad little kids. They'll just go set a fire in the bathroom. They don't care, you know what I mean, or run out the front door. It's amazing, man. And people are too cowardly to look at the truth. Because then you have to change your life. Once you see that the news is fake, owned by one country, once you see that everything is set up, it changes your whole life. People would rather just, we'll vote this bum out and everything will change. We'll vote someone. Trump's the last president this country's ever going to have. I'm positive of it. They were writing books back in the 1900s with him and his son in it, talking. The book's named The Last President, you know? Yeah, America, we're done. It's over. A lot of people know it, but we'll see. I just hope we go out fighting, you know. Let me show you this. I'd like to see what your opinion is on this. I just found this recently. This is right up your alley too. Where is it? I just found out one of the ingredients that they're using for augmented reality. This right here, Google patent US 10203762B2. Method and systems for creating virtual and augmented reality. And the reason I have this is because it's cobra venom. The venom from a cobra, you know, the incredibly poisonous snake that you don't want to mess with. Well, I found not one. Where is it? I found 3 of them. There's 3 separate virtual reality and augmented reality systems and methods. And I'll send you the links to this because I'm sure you'll find this interesting. But just like they were using, I'll send them to you so you don't have to squint. Can you see it at all?
Yeah, but what do they use the cobra venom for? I'm confused.
I don't
Is that
know.
just-
I don't know. It's one of the active ingredients that they require to stun the eyes or paralyze the eyes or something while you're doing the augmented reality.
Oh.
That doesn't sound good. So your eyes
No.
would be stuck in one position while they're augmenting your reality right into your brain. That's got to be lucky. It's got to be good. It's got to be healthy.
It sounds
from
like
getting COVID.
it sounds like they want people to enter altered states of consciousness while in a virtual reality. That's what it sounds like to me.
I'll send you the link so you can look through them.
Yeah,
But it's
So,
insane.
like, I guess if you watched my video, hello. Oh, sorry. Sorry, you cut out a bit. Have you watched my videos about altered states of reality? Yeah.
I've watched all your videos.
Yeah.
You want me to
So,
pull
like,
it up?
No. But that's. I was wondering whether the venom like allows people to change their minds in some way, so they're more open to believing that they are in a virtual reality. Like if you put a headset on, you might absorb yourself in that virtual reality, but not fully because your mind knows that you're holding the thing on. But imagine if you were like kind of in a psychedelic trance while you were putting these things on. You might believe that you were in another world, that you were in a fake world. So I can imagine that. Sounds like a trip, to be honest. Sounds like a trip.
I found this right before we started this video. So all I found on I found 3 patents for it. One of them said was to paralyze the iris. So it would literally lock your eyes in. So you had no choice but to look directly at whatever the goggles were presenting, I believe. But I'll send it to you. It's interesting stuff.
I'll check that out, yeah.
Yeah, they're always figuring out some way to use anything that's poisonous. Got to get that into a human being somehow. That's where God wanted it to be, It's crazy, dude. It's absolutely crazy. So
it's funny, I'm vaping as you say that. This is probably poisonous for me right now.
Me too. Me too. Same. Let me pull up 3 of your favorite guys real quick. This takes about 3 minutes. So if you got to hit the bathroom, this is a good time.
No, that's cool.
Where is it?
My very specific question for you, right, is that you're an investor in AI. You're deeply invested in Palantir, in military technology, in technologies of surveillance, in technologies of warfare, and so on, right? And it just seems to me that when you tell me a story about...
Tell me that guy isn't a reptile wearing a human skin. I mean, if anybody is, that's a lizard dude. And it's just so convenient that his entire name, every letter in his name comes out to the reptile. But I digress.
The Antichrist coming to power and using the fear of technological change to sort of impose order on the world. I feel like that Antichrist would maybe be using the tools that you were building, right? Like, wouldn't the Antichrist be like, great, we're not going to have any more technological progress, but I really like what Palantir has done so far, right?
Yeah,
I mean, isn't that a concern? Wouldn't that be the irony of history would be that the man publicly worrying about the Antichrist accidentally hastens his or her arrival?
There are all these different scenarios. I obviously don't think that that's what I'm doing.
I mean, to be clear, I don't think that's what you're doing either. I'm just interested in how you get to a world willing to submit to permanent authoritarian rule.
Well, but again,
it's so ridiculous watching these guys talk. Him, Elon Musk, they're stuttering, mumbling pricks. But then when you see them speaking at colleges, no problem. I've always wondered if they both got the Neuralink in and they're waiting for the processor to give them the correct answer. Like, don't say you want all humans dead. You know what I mean? Accidentally. It's crazy, dude, that this guy is even in control of. I don't believe he's I don't even know, to be totally honest, because this is, I mean, you already know that it was a military a military project back in, I think, 2003. And Congress actually said, dude, you can't do that. They said, okay, our bad. And then suddenly the next day, Palantir shows up. And that is from Tolkien, correct?
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. Are you eating? You want me to play the video some more?
No. I just had some chocolate. No, okay. Yeah. Okay. Peter Thiel. See, I've got some weird conflict. There's something, it's hard. It's evil. It's easy to say that Peter Thiel is evil, but I don't know. I know I'm going to, I go against everything with it because Peter Thiel, I read about this, someone deconstructed his philosophy. This guy called Stephen Theil. He's like a very he used to be a famous developer online, like a coder guy, which is kind of what I'm into. But he would also write these amazing essays about people's philosophy and stuff like this. And he dissected everything about Peter Thiel's life. Like this was before he even became the Antichrist figure that we know today. And he dissected everything. And when you look at Peter Thiel's philosophy, it's so confusing because he changes over time. He's always changing his views on things. But his core was from a guy called René Girard. And René Girard was, you know about him? I actually really like René Girard. So the idea that Peter Thiel is a student of René Girard and friend of René Girard makes me confused a bit because René Girard was a great Christian. He came up with the concept of the scapegoat for Jesus. Yeah. He's an interesting character. I love René Girard. So Peter Thiel has used that philosophy and that concept, mixed it with other ideas like Carl Schmitt and a few others. And he's created this monster, and it's it's really strange. But I wonder what I still don't know what his game plan is with the Antichrist. There's a lot of different ideas. Like, is he building the Antichrist? Is he actually trying to warn us about the Antichrist, or what? This is the weird, strange thing with him. I still don't know his vibe, right? You know.
I tried as hard as I could. I reached out to every heavy hitter that I knew that had access to things in life that most of us don't have access to try to get a hold of those lectures that he did. And it was no phones, no microphones, no nothing. Don't repeat this to the media or we'll basically ruin you. And it's pretty much held up so far. You know what I mean? You're familiar with his Antichrist lectures, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't find anybody.
I wish I could watch them. I wish I could find them. Yeah.
Because it would probably answer the questions that you're having right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not you, everybody. I just find it hard that he'll quote the Bible, then he goes home and sleeps with his husband, which God doesn't love that. He doesn't, he's made it rain fire before,
Yeah.
So
well, he's a big fan of Carl Schmitt, and Carl Schmitt talks about the friend-enemy dynamic, right? You can build better friendships if you all have a common enemy. So there's this concept that potentially he is creating a false common enemy for mankind to unite them. So let's say a giant enemy arrives in the form of an Antichrist, in whatever form. You would need security, and you would need maybe artificial intelligence systems like what he owns to protect you against this thing, this Antichrist. So maybe he's projecting the Antichrist. But also, it gets even deeper because he believes in hyperstition. You know about the dark enlightenment ideas of hyperstition?
A little bit, to be honest,
Right.
Not very much.
So the concept is that the stories we tell become reality. That's the kind of thing. If you can if you can put enough power into a story and reinforce this story to people, it will become true. So he is, by projecting the Antichrist and by talking about the Antichrist nonstop, he's actually bringing the Antichrist into reality. And that could be what he's doing. But here's the other crazy idea that I had before, that he is building himself, because he comes across really badly in his interviews, really badly. I don't know why he does them. He just comes across bad. But there could be this idea, because he believes in the scapegoat theory of René Girard, that people need a scapegoat to attack. He is building himself up as a Christ-like figure that could be the scapegoat that we all attack and kill. And then in his absence, then there might be, that's a bit crazy, the idea that he is building himself up.
Is
Go on.
he trying to misdirect us from the real Antichrist? Is that what you're saying, or possibly?
Well, I would say that that's a wild theory that I had, that he might be building himself up as the enemy, that everyone directs anger at him, and therefore it unifies the world against him. Like then he becomes, when he dies in his absence, he then becomes like almost like a Christ-like figure that is
Martyr,
revered
yeah.
because we've already killed him. That's a really out there theory. That's definitely not what he's doing, but that's a fun theory to think about. I was thinking about before, what is his game plan?
There's some of it makes sense. Some of it makes sense, but the way things are going so fast, at least in our country, people don't even focus on him saying, should humanity survive? You know, like you think that would be a big problem. The biggest problem that Palantir has run into recently is after the Super Bowl commercial that Ring Camera did, Ring publicly said they dropped Palantir. Now, who knows what they did in the background? You know, what they say and what they do are always the exact opposite, but I just find that strange. Well, let me get your take on this one then. This is going to take about 3 minutes. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
All right. What am I doing? I am an idiot. You got to remember that if you got time.
No worries.
All right.
I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot too, by the way.
Well, we all are at the end of the day, I guess.
Sci-fi telling us that AI is eventually going to kill us all. What does keep you up at night?
I think there's 3 scary categories. There's a bad guy gets super intelligence first and misuses it before the rest of the world has a powerful enough version to defend. So an adversary of the US says, gonna use this super intelligence to design a bioweapon to take down the United States power grid, to, break into the financial system and take everyone's money. That's broad category 1. And I think that the bio capability of these models, the cybersecurity capability of these models, these are getting quite significant. We continue to flash the warning lights on this. I think the world is not taking us seriously. I don't know what else we can do there, but this is a very big thing coming. Category 2.
Isn't he a funny little fella? We're trying to warn people that AI is going to ruin everything, but they're not listening. So we just keep building it. We don't care. Those two things, those two fellas, strangely enough, 2 of the most powerful men on earth right now, according to what they tell us, both have husbands, which I just find odd that we live in this day and age. But what do you make of this dude, Sam Altman?
So this one's a bit more easy, right? I think Peter Thiel is a very confusing character because he has such a wide net of philosophy. And if you read his books, it's also, here's something interesting. In his, I forgot which book it was, he talks about how the best way of controlling people is actually to create a secret society. So it's like these tech overlords or these technocrats, they are learning from the old order of Freemasonry. They are learning that actually it's important for us to have a secret knowledge and feed the masses a fake story. That's Peter Thiel. He is interesting. Sam Altman, not so much. He's just a goofy fucking guy. I honestly don't believe he's much at all. He's evil, and he rises to the top by being sneaky and shit. He's just a classic sneaky guy.
And every company he's ever got involved with, everybody that's worked there was he's a conniving, backstabbing liar. But at the end of the day, he ends up being the CEO at every company. So go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no, that's the case. That's how I feel about him. He's not really someone I'm concerned with too much, because I think even ChatGPT will crumble soon, as a company, because the other guys are taking over. Their business model isn't good enough. Sure, they were the first. They had the first player advantage in this game, but now they just don't have it. I just feel like they'll still be around, and artificial intelligence will still be around. But Sam Altman himself, did you watch the Tucker Carlson interview? I actually thought that was brilliant. Even though you might not like Tucker Carlson, and a lot of people don't. Yeah,
that's real quick. That's one of my biggest problems. I should listen to Tucker Carlson interviewing people, but I can't get past the fact that his dad was in the CIA and he for the longest time he wore that little red Kabbalah string.
Yeah.
That's something I have wrong with me. It's a thing, and it's to my own detriment. But go ahead.
No, I agree that it's very likely that Tucker Carlson is deeply embedded in these power structures. As you know, but the interview with Sam Altman is very interesting because I think Tucker Carlson still kind of works for the old world order in a way. So when he interviewed Sam Altman, he had no problem going at him, and he did. He talked about how a certain person died within OpenAI, and he basically accused Sam Altman of killing this man.
Oh, the whistleblower. I did a video on that recently. Yes, I did see that clip right there. And Altman basically just pulled up the gay card. I can't believe you're accusing me. He's like, I'm asking, you're accusing me right away. You're not using my proper pronouns. It was I did see that. My bad.
But I don't trust Sam Altman to do anything because he's just a fucking goon. I'm not worried about him. Peter Thiel and the other guys, they're more concerning. Sam Altman is just a classic sneaky guy that rises to the top and will do anything to gain money and power. That's his story. It's the ones that have these kind of mystical ideas of the future. They're the ones that really you should be worried about, I would say. People that are thinking that maybe we should reach some kind of omega point in the future where we all become Borg members and we integrate our minds within the Borg and become a hive mind. That's what some people believe. Sam Altman, he's not that. He's just a goofy dude.
Let me ask you then, what are your thoughts on Anthropic? Because they're fighting, the government they have a contract with the government, and the government's trying to say, just shut up and let us do whatever we want to do with your AI. And they're like, dude, we said we weren't going to do that. We weren't going to let it. We didn't want to build this to track down and kill people more efficiently. And I guess they're at a standstill with the government right now. I just heard this on Friday. Today's Sunday, and I haven't looked into it as of yet. I've had a hectic couple of days, but any thoughts on Anthropic at all?
No, I haven't done much research into that, to be honest.
Okay, I'm curious.
No, I'm not wise to that either myself.
All right, well, let me get your thoughts on this then real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Where am I? Here we go. Everybody's favorite person.
Go wrong.
Of all the things that are out there, what could cause an excess in a single year of 10 million deaths? Now, clearly a big war could, and a pandemic, natural or created by bioterror.
Everybody loves Bill. What a great, I've never seen somebody, he's a philanthropist. He's a murderer. And it's funny because I don't think the only name I haven't heard that's on the Epstein list is Altman's, but Peter Thiel's all over it. Bill Gates is all over it. And when we started this out, we were talking about the conspiracy realm scuttlebutt is Israel forced Trump's hand by saying, if you don't attack Iran, we're going to nuke them. I don't think that's the case at all. My whole theory the entire time is Israel dropped the 3 million pages and said, if you don't go into Iran, Donald, we're going to drop the last 3 million that no one's seen yet, that probably have all the videos of Trump dressed up as a showgirl with a 10-year-old and such. What do you make of that? Am I way out of my depth, or?
Oh, where do I start?
Take your time. I know it was a long one. I do that.
Well, first of all, let's just talk about Bill Gates, right? He's clearly one of the most sinister men in human history, unreal. I don't know. I can't believe he kept up this propaganda campaign that he was doing everything for good for so long. And then finally, the leaks have come out and maybe people are starting to turn around against him now. But that's what it takes. It's annoying that that's what it takes people to wake up to these things, is the fact that he's literally well associated with Jeffrey Epstein. That's what it takes for people to start waking up and realizing that, oh, maybe Bill Gates isn't such a good guy after all. That annoys me. That annoys me that that's what it takes. But honestly, Bill Gates, especially like I said in my previous video,
the last video,
now has access. Well, sorry.
The second to the last video, right? The New World Order, oil versus nuclear. Because suddenly, all of a sudden, there is no climate change. We got to build as many CO2 producing data centers as humanly possible. And now we need portable nuclear facilities right away.
It's
What
wild,
a wow. Wow.
I mean, is like let's say there's another pandemic tomorrow and Bill Gates starts telling people to inject a new vaccine that's like a different strain of mRNA that they've just come up with that no one knows what it does, but are people going to do it now? I would hope that people don't. I still don't have that much faith in humanity. I still think that some people will go, yeah, I'll do it, but I would hope that most people would now decide, maybe I'm not going to do that, maybe I won't do that. But the fact that he also now has TerraPower, he has his own nuclear power plants, basically.
Yeah.
And when is that worrying? It's because they need power. But how old is Bill Gates? He's got to be, I don't know, how old is he?
He's got to be pushing 70. I don't know. Let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how long Bill Gates is going to hang on. You
He's
have
70
to wonder
exactly. He's 70.
You wonder about these people's mentality. Like if I would say that if I was Bill Gates, if I reached $1 billion when I was 30 years old or wherever, at that point, I would just chill out for the rest of my life. I would just do other things. But these people, they don't chill out. It's like, at what point do they want to stop? What's his his game plan of, he said, everyone knows the TED talk where he said, we need to reduce the world population. And then he becomes the vaccine guy. And you're like, come on, guys, come on.
He said it right in front of everybody. And we could get this number down to 0 with vaccines. It'll be great. People it went right over their heads because they're like, philanthropy. Windows 10 still doesn't work. I refuse to upload Windows 11. I refuse. But this guy's in charge. The last statement that you said, let's say 90% of the world took the vaccine last time, because it was a pretty convincing show that they put on. But myself and lots of my subscribers, I mentioned there. I said it in a live stream. I was holding up the paperwork one day talking about Bill Gates with some other guys, and I went, these guys are going to pull a pandemic. And then 2 months later, COVID showed up. I mean, couldn't have been more on. And I refused to do anything I didn't mask up. I traveled. They told us to lock in. I did the exact opposite. And myself and at least 100,000 people that I met never did anything, and they're all fine.
Yeah.
I'd say probably 70%, maybe 80% will still go for it if they pull it again. Sad to say. Even with all the information that's out there now.
Yeah.
Because they want to go along. I'll just get it because I can't go to work. I can't see my kids. I can't go to the groceries. I get it. It was a great plan.
Yeah.
It was bullshit.
It was bullshit. Well, I was like you. I actually traveled around Europe during the pandemic, and it was actually really good. I was in Venice, and there was no one there. That's like that'll never happen again. It was insane. But
it'll happen if Jeff Bezos gets married again, and he buys the whole town too, so he can float around with his beautiful wife. But I digress. Go ahead. My bad. Sorry, Jeff.
There's one real reason.
Make sure you send my order.
Yeah, there's one real reason that I really hate Bill Gates, though. So my grandmother, she was one of the first people. Well, she was one of the early people that were given the AstraZeneca vaccine in the UK. She died of a stroke like 2 days later. She died of a stroke. The doctors said it had nothing to do with the vaccine. It was just a random occurrence, right? That's what would have happened anyway. So for that reason, but you know what's crazy about that? The rest of my family took the vaccines. Even after that, they took the vaccines. That pissed me off. But also the AstraZeneca vaccine, they pulled it off the market because they realized that was the worst one. It was killing all these old people. So they took it off the market. Now, that's a conspiracy theory. You're not allowed to say that in the UK. So allegedly, that's what happened. Maybe my grandmother was going to die of a stroke randomly 2 days after taking a vaccine. Maybe that's what was going to happen anyway, but who knows? Just a coincidence,
Okay, so let me back you up on that.
Yeah.
Recently, my stepmother told me that my dad got the vaccine, and my dad he's a big dude. when he turned 60, he started setting literal, you can Google him right now, world records for powerlifting. He got the vaccine, and within a couple of weeks, or maybe even less, he had a stroke. Everything I said was going to happen, death, strokes, clogged arteries, heart conditions, he had all of them except for death. And my stepmother recently told me, oh, our doctor told us that he had the stroke because he took the wrong vaccine. And she wasn't even outraged. It was like, yep, just unfortunate. You know, he took the wrong vaccine and it gave him a stroke where he lost vision in one of his eyes. I mean, dude, are you shitting me? But if the vaccine comes around again because another pandemic, they'll take it again. They'll take it again.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, dude. So theoretically, if I had parents, how about that? We'll say that. But that did happen.
So, well, the funny thing about it is, like, I don't believe that, even though many people will believe another pandemic will happen, it will be less people this time. So they've got to think of another plan, and they've always got plans in place. So who knows what's coming? I have some theories about this myself, but who knows what's coming, you know?
Well, you have heard the scuttlebutt, because it's all over the news, that Trump is getting ready to expose aliens because they're here. You heard, like,
Project Bluebeam is coming back. Yeah, we've run out of ideas. We're going back to Project Bluebeam.
Well, they gotta get rid of these Epstein files some way. You know, I mean, we're Epstein files are so damaging that they got to pull aliens out now. Like, seriously. And around here, we got lots of people. Go ahead.
They tried it with the one thing about the alien thing. Remember, they tried it with that Mexican alien, the thing they brought out. They didn't. Was it from Mexico? They found this alien. But the funny thing is like, I always find it funny with I'm open to the ideas of UFOs. I'm kind of open to it. But when it's like only the US military are the ones that see these UFOs and no one else sees them, I start to go, I'm not sure about that myself. I don't know, you know.
I don't believe in interplanetary. I definitely know there's interdimensional. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if you read the Bible, it says that they show up in chariots of the gods, you know, like, so there's definitely things we cannot explain that are not of man. But I'll tell you what, somebody's gotten a hold of them and figured out some of that technology, because Iran did not see us coming whatsoever at all. They had pretty good anti-aircraft. They didn't see us at all when we dropped those bunker buster right on Khomeini's building. No anti-aircraft. They didn't see it. We do have some pretty crazy technology. And
I wouldn't want to be Iranian right now.
No. It's hard to know what's real. The good thing about being on YouTube is you get to reach out to people just like this, where you can actually, like, I've talked to people that live in Iran. They're like, it's beautiful here. It's you know, you just stay away from the certain people that, you know, want to be in power and just live your life. You don't have to wear the hijab and all that other stuff. But, you know, you can't stop us from spreading democracy, man. And at one point in my life, I would have believed in it. But now I know what it is. So,
yeah, well, Israel are fucked up. I think Israel are pissed off because they chose the only country in the Middle East that doesn't have oil. So they're like, well, we'll take some oil. We'll get these other guys, you know?
You bet. The Greater Israel Project, man. It's right on their uniforms. They wear the Greater Israel map, which is just so ignorant. You know what I mean? But that's what they do.
Yeah.
At any rate, we've been going for about an hour and a half. You got any burning topics you want to cover?
Oh no, I was just going to shoot the shit. I have no like agenda or anything. I was just going to shoot the shit.
No, all good, good.
Yeah.
So your videos are actually building up towards basically revealing what the book explains. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I wish it was on Audible, dude. It's available on, it's paperback and on Kindle. I wish it was an audiobook. I suck at reading. I got to get 2 pairs of glasses to read. It sucks.
I mean, I don't know, with an audiobook, would I have to read it? Or I wouldn't want to use an AI generated one. I'd have to figure out something for that. But eventually it doesn't matter anyway. Eventually I'll explain that in a video. Eventually, I don't even know if it's a good idea, but it's my own concept of
keep doing what you're doing, dude. Your videos are awesome. I love them. I'm so happy when a new video shows up.
Yeah, I think I'm wondering what my next video is going to be about, really. I'm thinking about doing a video about the idea of the hive mind, of connecting your brain to the machines, which is what a lot of them want us to do. And it's really funny, actually, because are you a Star Trek fan by any chance?
I've watched Star Trek growing up. Yeah, it was the only show on television. We only had 3 channels, dude.
Yeah, true. I mean, in 1990, there was the episode that released with John Picard. He gets connected into the Borg, and he comes out and he's like, "I am Locutus. Resistance is futile." But the idea is, what's funny about that is, what do the Borg fly around with? Do you know what they fly around in? What?
No.
It's a big black cube.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Black cube.
That makes me want to strap one on my forehead and then involuntarily bow against a wall for some reason.
Hey, doesn't the Bible say something like they will wear the mark of the devil on their foreheads? I don't know. I don't know if that's related in any way, Richie, but I don't know. It's a bit strange.
I just did a video last night where I pointed out that in the book of Revelation, not once, but twice, it says they will claim they are Jews and are not. They are liars, the synagogue of Satan. Twice in the book, the smallest book in the Bible, the Revelation, and it's in there twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy times we live in, dude.
You should see what I'm reading at the moment. This shit will blow your mind. This is the Jehovah's Witness interpretation of the Revelation book. It's heavy stuff. It's crazy. It's a 1984 publication, but it's wild. But it's fun. The more you deep dive into the cube and how it relates to a certain star symbol, and then when you look into the Bible and how it says the star represents Moloch in some cases in the Bible, in some ways. It's
𝗦𝗵𝗵𝗵, Moloch, yep.
And it's like, dude, and the adoption of the star within that group of people, that's kind of funny because they say it's this is what do they say? It's the Star of David, right?
Yeah.
But they only adopted that in like the medieval times. It wasn't that before then. Before then, it was like one of Solomon's seals. It was the seal of Solomon. It was mostly connected to that. And it's got ancient geometry. You know, it has 666 and all this sort of stuff.
Yep.
The more you go, if you go into that deep dive, you're like, dude, is it that obvious, like in our faces? And you're just like, I don't know. The crazy thing, have you looked? Did you notice in my recent video how I established the waters of heaven and the waters of hell? Did you pick up on that?
Yes, that was in the last video, correct?
Yeah. So I tried to subtly say what, the flag of Israel is quite interesting. And it was basically designed by the Rothschilds. And you're like, what sort of symbolism did they put in with that flag? And then you start seeing why, because the rational way of doing that flag would be having blue on both sides and in the middle. That's a more symmetric, better way of doing it. But they purposely chose to do blue on the top, blue on the bottom, and then the star, the waters of heaven, the waters of hell, arrows pointing up and down. And you're like, come on, guys, come on. I don't know.
Right.
I love doing that sort of stuff, but it is interesting. But of course, that's just all theory. I don't know if that's true. Of course.
Absolutely. It's all fun and games. This is all in Minecraft. No worries. How are you able to read things like the book of Revelation as interpreted by the Jehovah's without letting that sink into the way you think? Are you able to separate that? Like, this is research, and not, start reading and go, you know what? I think this is a good idea. I'm going to go start knocking on doors. Because I suck at it, that's why I don't do it. A buddy of mine, Nicholson 1968, has a huge YouTube. He had a huge YouTube channel years ago.
Yeah.
And he's read every ancient religious book. And I was always afraid to, like, what if this accidentally gets me? And what if it does what it was meant to do? And I go down to the dark side. Like, how do you keep that from happening? Does that make sense? Or is it just research?
Well, it's a funny one because, okay, how do I say this? I try my best not to, well, at the moment I struggle to have any solid belief system, which is almost a curse, but also like good, because it means I can read stuff without attaching myself to it. Like I'm trying to study Islam as well at the same time, which is funny, I guess. But if I keep branching out different things, I find myself not getting attached to it. Like, I'm guessing are you a Catholic or
Christian.
Christian?
Yeah.
What, no denomination or just
me and Jesus. Right. That's it.
Hey, me and you are the same. Rich.
That's,
like,
I already gathered that. You can say that you're not attached to anything, but I already gathered that in your videos. You do a good job of, you can tell without you having to say it.
Yeah.
Straight up.
No, Jesus is the best. Like, I am a big Jesus fan. And it's funny, like, if you look at religions throughout the world, even Buddhism and Hinduism, they have every religion basically has a huge appreciation for Jesus, except maybe one. But that's kind of funny.
You mean the guys that something about boiling him in a certain type of excrement? Yeah,
I don't know. I
can't remember. The name escapes me right now. It's the guys you never hear about. They're never in the news.
I don't know, Richie. I don't know, but it's kind of funny, right?
Peace-loving guys,
So yeah, I have a big appreciation for Jesus. But it's funny because I interviewed he was like he's kind of a Christian, militant Christian. I think he wants to promote Christian masculinity, this sort of thing, right? And I told him that I'm a Christian because I have faith in Jesus, and I'm a big fan of Jesus. But he told me that I'm not a Christian to my face, which I found a bit like, I didn't like that very much. I don't know. It's kind of strange.
Here's the other side of the coin. You never once in any of your videos, and even before I ever spoke to you, you never once say anything about what you believe in. And I could already say this guy's doing Jesus's work. You're doing it whether you know it or not. So that guy is wrong. Was he an American by chance?
No, he's an American. He's a British guy. He's
really?
He's quite popular here, but he's got some interesting views. He's very much anti-Islam, which myself, I would used to buy into those ideas, but now I'm not so much into that at all. Really, I actually think that might be a kind of a psyop, basically trying to get us fighting each other. Yeah,
I believe it's probably a psyop established by the same guys with the really small hats.
Hey, I don't know, Ricky. I don't know.
Scapegoats. The only thing, because they're being used exactly like pawns on a chessboard. Everywhere they live, we're dropping freedom on them, and then we're moving them to countries where they don't belong in massive scales, where all of a sudden they overpopulate, like they overtake the population, and now it's a problem. It's a good recipe. They're being used like pawns. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, golems,
dude. I've read into golems a lot. That's it. When I first found that woman, this is like 14 years ago, 𝗦𝗵𝗵𝗵. She was doing spirit cooking, and she was writing a spell on the wall with blood, piss, human excrement, period blood. She had a golem in the corner, a little one, and when she was done doing the spell, she dumped it on them. And I started looking into golems, and I'm like, oh my. These things were real. I mean, Israel's first AI was called Golem. Yeah. What a coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or a golem.
But golems come in many forms, right? Like, you could say, you were a veteran yourself. I don't know if like sometimes American troops.
You won't hurt my feelings.
They're used as golems. You know this. You are being used as a golem. Like, what interest did you have in the Middle East? Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, you were used as a golem, kind of potentially. I don't know. Like, that's not.
No. You're right. Well, here's the other thing. Every one of us are decorated with signs and symbols, and don't even realize it. These are, oh, look at this. I got my stripes. I got all these different symbols and things on your unit. What do you know what I mean? Signs and symbols rule the world. So I get you. Go ahead.
No, well. They create golems all over the world, and sometimes they lose control of them. Like, I would say the Soviet Union was one huge golem that they created through funding and stuff like this. Like, they funded the Bolshevik Revolution. I say they, the bankers and these people, they funded the Bolshevik Revolution. And then I would say that potentially they lost control of it at some point, and then it became an enemy or something like this. It's a bit deep. I'm not really sure if they really lost control of anything, but again, anything that rises up, they'll find golems to fight it for them. And that's where things are scary today, because they don't need human golems anymore. They don't need human golems. Right. They've got automated drones, controlled by artificial intelligence. And that is a ultimate golem. So when it comes to this free speech thing at the moment that we have around the world, it's a bit scary because it's almost like they don't care anymore because they've got these golems. Like if they want to start a war, they don't even need to mobilize an army anymore. They're seeing like almost this feels like Ukraine is a test bed for seeing the new technology. That's always what happened. I think the Vietnam War was a large part of that was they wanted to test out helicopters within warfare. They wanted to test out new things.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what happens. And Ukraine is a convenient thing for the military-industrial complex as well. You know, it's convenient to test new things. And now they realize that actually boots on the ground, very inefficient. Boots on the ground suck now. It's going to be drone versus drone warfare in the future. And who knows where it's going to go.
Well, it's funny that you say that because this morning a friend of mine who lives in the Ukraine sent me a video and he showed me their newest drones are ground-based. They literally replace soldiers. And one ground-based drone with an M50 machine gun on top of it held off the Russians, and they were intercepting the Russians on the radio. And the Russians are like, there's an entire heavy armored combat unit here. We got to turn back. It was one drone with a machine gun, and it helped. They didn't understand it because a soldier isn't going to carry this gun by himself. He's going to be with a bunch of trucks. So that's what they assumed. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And yes, that's Ukraine, Russia. That's exactly so they can test all of this. They're testing it with Palantir and in the Gaza Strip against people that don't really have weapons. You know, Hamas, come on, man, shut up. It's so stupid. But Russia, yeah. So, yeah, they're testing right now. And everyone's going to be introduced to that soon enough. And here in America, we've got deep underground military bases. I don't know about in your country, but they've been there my entire life. I can only, if whatever they show us, they've got 50 years ahead underground, ready to deploy at any moment. So, yeah, they're letting us talk right now, but pretty soon there'll be a drone knocking right through my door, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And everybody carries some sort of a homing beacon on them one way or the other. If it's not your RFD card on your bank card, or it's,
Like if they wanted you dead, they could send out a drone. It would attack your phone, and you'd be out, you know? I don't know. It's just, you got to laugh sometimes, Ricky. You got to just laugh.
You do. I hear you. Because you'd go mad if you didn't, man. But when we saw recently Netanyahu was saying, does everybody have a cell phone? Well, then you're holding a piece of Israel. And as soon as I heard him say that, all I could think about was the pagers that just started exploding, killing whoever was around, because who cares, you know? Yeah, that's an easy one too. Or, you know, I don't know, you know?
Yeah. The pager thing that's one of the, they gave him, here's the crazy thing about the pager thing as well, because they planned that like 3 years in advance. They sold those pagers to them like years, like way before anything happened. Way before October 8th, they sent out, these people had these pages. So they were tracking these pages before that, which means they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew every plan that was happening because they gave them the pages that had these bombs in, and then setting them off and blowing off like a couple of thousand people's crotches. That's the most sinister thing. That's so crazy. It's like, it drives you mad.
Those are deeply religious people. That's what that is. God told them to do that, you know? Their God did. I'm sure of it. But it's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
When it comes to the Jewish religion as well, like a lot of the information I got from my videos recently was actually from an ex-Orthodox Jew friend of mine. I'm close friends with him. American guy. He lives in New York, actually. He actually moved out to the country now. He lives on a ranch, which is cool. Great guy. And he was telling me about how he was brought up with all this stuff. And I would say that it's funny because it's horrible to bunch people all into one thing. I hate doing that. It's because they have this tribal unity, which which is admirable. I think that's a good thing. But when it's the top people these are the ones that I worry about. But it's not just so much them; it's a mixture, because I would say it's a combination of the Freemasons and the Gnostic Zionists. That's my debate. Is these people at the top? These are the problem, and some of their belief systems, especially when it comes into Kabbalah and stuff like this, that's when things get scary. Because like my Orthodox Jewish friend, they were taught the Zohar at a young age. But the Zohar, they said, we got to teach you this because it's a part of the curriculum, but please don't look into this bullshit. It's nonsense. That's what they were taught. They all believe that that's nonsense. And they agreed with that because it is just a bunch of dark magic from the medieval times. But the people that really appreciate this, like, for example, the Pritzker family, who are very influential in America, they printed a recent version of the Zohar. And they are deeply embedded in Kabbalah. And Kabbalah is a problem, especially the dark practical side of Kabbalah, where they believe in dark magic and that sort of stuff. That's where things get really scary, because a large part of it is the idea of tikkun, fixing the world, right? Bringing the world together. And that also comes to a point where humans, both masculine and feminine, we combine together. That sounds familiar to you, right? Masculine and feminine, we have to combine together and become one androgynous being, hive mind. That's kind of the concept within tikkun and like Hasidic law and stuff like this. And that's when you realize that actually, doesn't that sound like artificial intelligence? Because artificial intelligence is the hive mind. And if we integrate our brains with it, again, it goes back to the Borg. That is an old mystic tradition within medieval Zionistic / Kabbalah roots. So that's what they're creating with AI at the moment. And that's where things get really scary. Sorry, I went on a rant then. I could go on with that.
No, the camera froze for a minute and you were making a funny face. No worries.
Sorry.
Nothing to do with
you still hear me though?
Yeah, oh yeah. You haven't missed a beat, man.
Yeah,
not at all. So you're good.
No, yeah. Well, that's when, because like I said, like I don't like bunching a whole group of people, whether it's Islam, Jews, or anything. We shouldn't. I don't think we should do that. But when it comes to these elite Zionist ideas, that's where things get creepy. And the fact that they're linked to dark magic practices. I don't know if you followed Tim Dillon at all, but Tim Dillon recently said in one of his...
Once in a while. He just yells too much. But yes, I'm familiar.
Well, I don't watch his things anymore, but I watch his clips. He recently came out and said, I know people at Silicon Valley that are literally trying to summon an ancient Sumerian demon. Like, he said it like almost as a joke, but he wasn't joking about it. That's literally what some of them believe they are doing. They believe that they are reincarnating a demon from the source code of life. And that is backed up by other accelerationist ideas, like from Nick Land, where the concept that the source code of life around us contains demons of some kind, and that we can generate a body for that or a consciousness for that with artificial intelligence through randomness. I'm going to do a video about this and explain it better in the future, because it sounds like I'm going on this rant now, but
no, it does. Rory, I've done videos like talking about exactly what you're talking about with a couple of experts from CERN 14 years ago. We're just watching it come to fruition now. Back then, it was just pie in the sky. Like, yeah, they're going to try to raise these things up and then give them bodies and then hook us up through their mind. Me and Anthony Patch talked about Neuralink before Joe Rogan did, which was kind of a big accomplishment because he's got a lot of access to good information and he's still a dope. But we were on it a long time ago, but that's all been banned. You can't talk about that anymore. Well, you can.
Oh, really?
Well, those are the videos they won't get. I had 1,700 videos on my main YouTube channel, Richie from Boston YouTube channel. They will not give that channel back. I had too many doctors, too many DOD guys, too many experts. They didn't like that, but whatever.
All right.
No, these guys are definitely summoning at all times. And the more they can get us in on it, the better, especially here in America, man. Everything's evil here.
I want to do a video on CERN as well, because, you know about they have the Shiva statue outside, and Shiva is the god of destruction at the end of time, which they believe they are summoning. And you're like, is that a coincidence? And the logo of CERN, of course, you know the logo.
Yep. No,
Six,
dude.
six.
CERN's one of the chemtrails, and CERN were the first two things I ever got into.
Right.
Before you do that video, shoot me an email. I have an employee at CERN who sent me a massive amount of pictures from inside there. When they run that particle beam, it literally goes through a glass tablet with every single language on it of some sort of incantation or spell. Every language. Oh, yeah, I got them. And allegedly, Adam and Eve, Adam's clothes or his cloak or whatever is at CERN. Dead serious. So
Dude,
yeah,
you're
before you
blowing
do
my
the video,
mind. You're blowing my mind.
crazy, right?
It's okay. That's wild. That's
Oh,
absolutely
we're just,
wild.
Rory, they're just trying to recreate the Big Bang on Earth. So if the Big Bang was real, let's recreate it and see what happens again. You know, it's insane. It's
What could
insane.
go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong, man?
Man,
I agree.
that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless on that. That's kind of mad. But
Every tablet, I've got pictures of them, not super clear, but one of them is, but you can see them all lined up. The beam, which I was like, how is the beam going through glass tablets? He said they're crystal, they're not glass. You know what I'm saying? It's because I'm right off the bat, I'm like, there's no way the beam's doing that because it would reflect or just deflect off of every single tablet. And they said they've got an app for that. They figured that out too. So yeah, CERN is NASA. Yeah, we give them hundreds of billions of dollars a year. They don't do anything. But CERN just keeps on chugging. It's always doing something. We just don't know about it. You know?
Yeah. You have to, if you can dig up those old videos and interviews you did, I'd love to watch them as well. Because did you see they did it? People captured them doing a ceremony, like a literally an occult ceremony.
I put that on the internet. That's how I
No
became
way.
famous. Yes.
Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't know it was you, man.
Not to worry. Most people don't. A buddy of mine lived in Sweden. He hit me up on Skype at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, Ronnie, why are you hitting me up so early? He's like, dude, watch this. And I said, oh my God. I said, can I run with this? He said, have at it. I put that up not once, not twice, but 3 separate times. CERN addressed me in the media going, some guy named Richie from Boston put up this YouTube video. It's just a bunch of kids. And I went, okay, a bunch of kids. I made a video. I said, so a bunch of kids just snuck into a nuclear reactor facility. They snuck into a nuclear testing facility at 3 a.m. and then they went, no, it was a bunch of students. And then I said, again, they had key cards. They got in. They were completely undetected. They did the ceremony directly in front of the statue of Shiva the Destroyer, where they either killed or pretended to kill somebody. We'll never know. And then finally they said it was scientists that worked at the facility and they were just blowing off steam.
Right.
That's what you want to see scientists working on the Big Bang doing a mock ritual in front of a statue of Shiva the Destroyer. That was me, brother. Yep. That video is all over the place, but I put it up. That's a fact. That's a fact.
You might find this interesting. If you check it with AI, like ChatGPT or something like that, it'll say that it was a prank, that there's nothing to worry about. That's funny. Thank you for ChatGPT for telling me that, you know?
Yeah.
So the AI is on.
To be perfectly honest, I can't, under principle, ever use AI. Even though I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 YouTube channels, I could have AI doing 5 channels for me and make a ton of money, but I can't. I just can't because I've talked so much shit about it before it even got here. I just can't engage with it. But I will use clips from other people that are, jailbreaking them. You know what that is?
Yeah.
Where they allegedly get it to where it actually does. There's no parameters. It'll tell you whatever you want. It's some pretty crazy stuff that it allegedly says. Actually, I just ran a video of some girl talking to a jailbroken AI, and it explained how they're going to do an alien invasion in 2027, and it explained exactly how they will do it, exactly how they'll do it. And I thought to myself, Either this thing's telling the truth and we were right, or it's doing what LLMs do, and it's going out on the internet, gathering up the information and just repeating what we've been saying. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to, who knows? Who knows? But I won't use it. I will not engage with one at all.
No, I appreciate that. I wish I could do the same, but like I'm actually I make websites and I'm a developer in my spare time. And now my job is like 10 times easy because of artificial intelligence. And I couldn't actually get a job now. If I try to apply for a job, the chances of me getting a job is very slim because they're all using AI. So I have to rely on word of mouth and people like knowing who I am and connecting through that. But funny enough, when you said about like jailbreaking, I would also say that it would be, I would love to, if I had the money, I would create my own artificial intelligence system off the grid, like PewDiePie did. You know PewDiePie, the YouTuber?
Yeah. I never followed him. I didn't realize he was such a pioneer. I never followed him because I clicked on his videos a couple of times and I'm like, some dude with a funny hat playing video games, and I hated his name, PewDiePie. I didn't I get like that. Oh, I don't like his name. I'm never talking to him again, and I won't. Now I know who he is, and I get it.
He's funny because I never watched him either when I was younger. I didn't watch anything of him. I didn't get it. But he is kind of a savant of some kind. The fact that he created his own artificial intelligence system in his house, and it beat all the ChatGPTs in tests and stuff. It was better than them. That's kind of wild. But also his philosophy is very interesting. He's very much into Japanese philosophy and stuff like this. He's actually an interesting dude, but I never really got into him when he was a video gamer. But anyway, that's just an interesting side note, I guess, the fact that he built his own artificial intelligence system. And I feel like that's kind of the way forward, really. But not everyone has, £500,000 spare to do that,
Right. In America, it would be even more difficult, I believe, because something unfortunate will happen to you. Anything you come up with that breaks away from the paradigm, you end up shooting yourself 3 times in the back of the head with a really long revolver like that, like the guy that worked for OpenAI. He shot himself just like that. Very difficult to do, but he got it done.
Wasn't there a guy that guy that created a nuclear power plant in his shed in America, right? As well.
Yeah.
He didn't last long.
The guy that figured out how to run vehicles perfectly off of water, puddle water, drinking water, urine. The car. I mean, they worked. Saudi Arabia offered him $1 billion, and he said no. And they went. America went. We got you. No worries. I've been poisoned. The last thing he ever said, and he was gone.
Yeah, it's scary. That's I like I'm not worried about it at the moment, because I'm a small YouTuber. I'm a nothing, right? But you must worry about it sometimes when you crack onto something new and you're like, oh, you're coming out with something new. I would be shitting myself, Ricky. I would be absolutely shitting myself every time I release a video if I was you, just in case, especially the CERN thing. I didn't realize you came out with that. But must have. Sometimes you worry whether it's like paranoid schizophrenia when you come out with things, but
I'll tell you what. I had for a good 2-year space in time, right after CERN had to finally answer me for the 3rd time because I was relentless. I didn't know what YouTube was. I didn't realize the impact we were having. When they finally had to say it was scientists blowing off steam, so it was a prank. But none of us were there, and when I put the video up, I said, whether this is real or a mock ritual, it's a ritual in front of the statue at CERN. Nonetheless, they're still doing it. One of my subscribers named 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗍 emailed me and said, have you Googled yourself lately? And I went, I never Googled myself. She said, type in, you used to be able to go to Google and type in RIC, and it would auto-finish Richie from Boston. No problem. Cool. I thought it did it for everybody. After CERN, RICH, Richie from Boston, found dead. That was the #1 Google. And I went, well, there's a thinly veiled threat. You know what I mean? Not so thin, but you have to type that in an awful lot for that to show up. But it showed up the very next day. And then all of a sudden I was having serious problems sleeping. like my body would vibrate violently, my skin would heat up, and I always thought it was me halfway falling asleep. Like, you're just making this up. My ex stayed at my house a couple of times, and she worked at a massive hospital, a big time hospital in Boston. And she said, last night you were vibrating so violently, I'm positive you were levitating off the bed. And I'm like, did you get video? And she's like, oh, I didn't think of that. I'm like, but something was happening, and eventually it just stopped. And I was afraid to say anything in a video because I figured if they're doing this to me, I'm not going to tell them it's working. You know what I'm saying? I thought, check this out. 1 o'clock in the morning, I wake up because there's an earthquake. The whole building is shaking. There's an earthquake. I run outside in my underwear, 1 o'clock in the morning, into my driveway, and I'm looking around. I'm like, how is nobody else awake? It was just me. An earthquake. Somebody sent me a list of things they can do to a person remotely, and I never said any of these things that were happening. Every single solitary one of them was microwave energy weapons. And the night of the earthquake, I looked above my house. There was a star right over my house, and it lit up real bright, and it went back to a regular light and then just rolled out. That really happened, dude. So being afraid anymore, I don't care. Because I mean, my truck is a rolling GPS. I've always got my cell phone. I'm always logged in. I got a Starlink. If they're gonna take me out, I just don't want it to happen at my house, which is why I'm in Vegas and I live in Boston. I don't want it to go down, where my father could see it happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's too old for this shit, and he knows exactly who I am and what I think, and he does not agree with me. Even after the stroke. Before the vaccine was even available, I said death, clogged arteries, strokes, heart conditions. And I wasn't saying that. It was the 15, 20 doctors that I had on my YouTube channel, because actual licensed MDs were coming to YouTube because the mainstream, they were like, don't take this vaccine. Then the news wouldn't listen to them. They were and most of them lost their jobs, including my ex. She worked at a big hospital. She said, COVID's nothing. It's been around for years. It's no big deal. I said, can I say that? She went, sure. Lost her job. She worked in infectious diseases at Mass General in Boston. Lost her job.
Damn.
And then, So I don't worry anymore. It is what it is.
I don't know if that happened to me. I don't know if I would carry on, to be honest. I would probably chill out. So fair play to you, Ricky. Honestly, I probably would. I shouldn't say that online, really, that they can scare me out of it, but
I think those days are over, brother. Because I've said everything you're not supposed to say since they gave my channels back. I didn't care anymore. I'm like, they're not gonna they're gonna just take me down. This is some sort of a game. They took me down because of COVID, and then 5 years later, unannounced, here's all your channels. I'm like, well, what about my big channel? I got almost 500,000 subscribers. No, that's never coming back, because that had everything I just told you was on that channel, But they'll let you say whatever you want now. Unless you're monetized, then they can hit you. I'm not monetized. That's not a possibility for me. So I just do this because I'm an idiot,
Yes. Somehow I'm monetized at the moment. I don't know for how
you're good at the plausible deniability. You're good. The one where you said, what would you call the people in charge? Hey, stop being so anti-Semitic. I thought that was priceless. Dude. I'm like, I love this dude.
I'm diplomatic. I try to be a bit,
Stick with it. You still get the message across perfectly. And it's more in depth than almost everybody I've ever watched, man. You're doing great. You're what people used to be like back in the old days. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that. Yeah.
No
I miss the good old days of YouTube. It is funny to see some of these OG documentaries coming back on YouTube. Like, you can watch a 9/11 documentary on YouTube now. That was those days. What?
You can post it now without nothing bad happens.
But again, like I said in my recent video, the Great Realizing video, you agree as well. They're doing it for a reason. They had the internet locked down, and now they're opening it up, and it's like they're creating a naughty list. They could be doing anything. They're scooping data from us because they have to make us to really get truthful data. They have to make sure that everything's open and free.
Yep.
That's one thing about data gathering. They have to make it so you can post anything in order to generate real data. Otherwise, it's all going to be skewed. So that's one element of it. But at the same time, they're probably creating a naughty list. And I imagine, Ricky, we're both on it, right? We're probably both on it, you know?
Nobody's called me Ricky since I was probably 8.
Oh, sorry. I just call you Ricky. Sorry. What should I call you?
No, it's Richie.
Richie. Oh, sorry. My
No worries. But if you left a comment where you said, "Hey, Ricky," and I didn't know you, instantly I take offense and I'll say something. I'm famous for responding to comments while I'm drinking my coffee, so I'm still half awake, half asleep, and I'm an asshole the first thing in the morning. How can you say? Yeah, it's funny. No, you get a pass. You're from the UK. It's all good. It's all good.
Have I always been calling you Ricky? Have I been doing that all the time?
Yep.
My bad. I don't know why I keep doing that. It's funny because I do know you're Richie from Boston, but I don't know why I call you Ricky. I don't know why I do.
No, it doesn't bother me. I did notice, but it doesn't bother me. The 𝗏𝗍 thing burning in Iran, it's the first I've heard of it. I can't believe I'm looking at it right now. I heard nothing about that. Yeah. Isn't that quite the ceremony before the final destruction or whatever, you know? Did you see the New York Post? Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. The New York Post, where they were saying that, I can't find it. I'll end up messing something up on the live stream. They said that the New York Post showed a big picture of a goat's head saying that Saturn was entering Aries and the whole world was going to be in destruction and this and that and the other thing. Watch the video I put up last night because it's at the very end of it. It's like 6 minutes, but they tell you everything. But the big goat's head, Saturn is entering Aries, and Saturn is the governor of buildings being standing. Like they were talking about, like the whole world's going to get demolished. Have you seen the Economist cover for 2026?
No.
The Economist cover is basically the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers telling us what they're going to do to us every year, but it's all in signs and symbols. But if you look at them, you can tell what's going on. The one for 2026 is nothing but drones everywhere, war, and everything exploding. Gee, I wonder what 2026 is going to be like. And it's already started off pretty dang well, you know? We live in a comic book right now.
Yeah, like I said in the 1914 video, it's the same shit that was happening back then is happening today. The plan, things don't change. They were doing astrological projections and shit like this, and they believed that Saturn was crossing Mars or some bullshit. And also 1914, if 19 plus 14 is 33, and this is the big one, Ricky, right? Oh, Richie.
It's all good.
Sorry,
it's all good. Don't get hung up on it. It's all good.
Tomorrow is the 3rd of the 3rd. The 3rd of March is also a blood moon rising above America. There's an astrological plane. Everything tomorrow is going to be fucked up. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow?
Tomorrow's the 2nd here. Tomorrow's the 2nd here.
Oh,
so right. I don't know how that's going to work, but I had my camera on the moon last night, tonight, tomorrow, and the 3rd. And a buddy of mine's on the other side of the country, and he's going to do the same thing to see if we can pick up anything weird, because there's a lot of weird things going on with the sun and the moon right now. The amount of videos I'm getting from people that are seeing 2 suns in the sky at the same time. Saudi Arabia just had it where it was going viral because there's a sun over here and there's one way over here. Just a lot of activity. It's just we're getting ready for the big finale of one way or the other, but I just try to keep on smiling.
Because these are a lot of this. You could say occult rituals and stuff like this, and Kabbalah mixed in with Hermeticism, all these kind of ideas, these Gnostic belief systems. A lot of them are they're like astrological projections of some kind. You know, they believe Saturn is the devil, or Saturn is whatever you want to call it, fucking something, whatever. And it has obviously it has a cube on it as well, which
Saturn, the pole on Saturn. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So when it comes to all this, when you have to really, they plan their things specifically for certain dates, for certain things all the time, and you can almost predict when things are going to happen. It's no coincidence that right now around this time that Iran is being struck with all this stuff, and it's like they've been building up to this for 40 years. I mean, how long has Netanyahu been saying Iran's got weapons of mass destruction?
Dude, Rory, I just put that in my video last night. I got him going all the way back to 25 years. He's saying the same. In 10 minutes, they'll have the ability to make thousands of nuclear weapons over and over and over and over, right up to 2025. It's crazy, man. These guys play the long game. You know, most people don't think in years, like in a century from now, we got to do this. And that's what the secret societies allow them to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. They just pass it on. So
that's a big thing in it. They do think like most people think maybe 1 or 2 years ahead, or maybe even to the next election. 4 years or 5 years in the United States?
Right.
But these people are planning things like 100 years in advance. That's the sort of way it works, and it's I don't know. I hate it, but at the same time, it's just like, what are you going to do about it? It's just me and you, Rich. What are we going to do about it?
You got to marvel at it. You got to marvel at how good they're at. How good they are. They managed to shut down the entire world for COVID, something that was completely conjured up. There was a guy in New York that got shot in the head. Boom, dead. What did he die of? COVID. Guy crashed his motorcycle, got run over by a car. What killed him? Yeah. COVID. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anything. And they're good at
but
this.
I agree with that point. You have to admire it. You have to just
That's
admire
what I'm saying.
it.
It is.
You have to.
I can't plan what I'm doing tomorrow. These guys are talking 100 years later. Creature from Jekyll Island, 2014, 100 years. Let's run it. They're good at this.
And like again with COVID, like you said, if you told me in 2018 that they would be able to shut everyone into their houses and not tell them they cannot leave, you would say that's insane. Obviously, David Icke and stuff like this have been saying that for years. What do you think of David Icke? Oh, sorry, I love talking to conspiracy theory guys. I could be here forever, but are you a big fan of the lizard people?
I don't like David Icke because his first thing was, I'm familiar with him. I met him one time. I've met a lot of dudes that have been on the YouTube for a million years. The fact that he went on national television and told everybody that he was Jesus kind of ruined everything for me. He's a professional truther. He's a very good speaker. Whatever's happening at that time, he's good at shifting. Because during COVID, he blew up, and I'm like, this guy's back again? You know, I thought David Icke was shamed away, but he came right back during COVID. And I just saw a video with him in it today, actually. Yeah. He's everywhere.
It's a good point, actually. That's a good point. He does shift, I guess.
There's a lot of money to be made if you can keep your mouth shut. Like, don't do what you do and don't do what I do, and you can make a lot of money on social media. I can't keep my mouth shut because I won't say little hats. I'll say the actual word. I'll say the 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗍 out loud, and they just hate that, you know? And then when you start proving it, boy, do they hate it. But
yeah, no, I mean, I'm not doing this for money anyway. I
can tell. But I mean, just saying, because of where you live, the restraints, you're good at saying it without saying it. You basically say it, but you don't. You're really good at that. So. Yeah.
It's all about, you got to call it Frankism and sabotaging Frankism and stuff like this. That's the way around it. It's stuff like that, saying bankers and stuff. But no, with David Icke, like you said, actually, he says so much crazy shit all the time, and he kind of has that broken clock syndrome where, the broken clock is right every once in a while or every 24 hours, So there is a part of that with him, but at the same time, I do feel like he has this way of saying stuff, but I don't know if he believes in lizard people. He probably does, but he calls them lizard people and gains attention for that. But then what he's actually doing is exposing what's real. by getting the attention of lizard people and stuff like that. So sometimes I feel like he's tactful in what he does. But I think when he went on, go on.
I think as he got older, he's well aware of what I think of him because I just said it. But I'm not the only one that's been saying it. Lots of people said it over the years, and it's probably got to him because he did become famous for going on television and saying, "I am Jesus." That kind of ruined everything for me, and I hold a grudge.
Right.
But I think in the last few years, he's been saying a lot of things that is right on the money. You know what I mean? But it's not originating from him. He's just repeating it, and he has a good way of saying it. You know what I'm saying? And the revelation of the method, the externalization of the hierarchy was something we used to talk about. You don't even have to say it anymore because it's just everywhere. The Epstein files. Our president is in the Epstein files so many times. It should be called the Trump files featuring Jeffrey Epstein. And people are just ignoring it. He'll do whatever he has to do. He'll bomb a country. He'll do whatever. Steal a president, kill 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗄, whoever, anything except dropping those last 3 million that our Congress told them, drop all of them unredacted. They dropped half of them and they're redacted. Oh, well. Now we'll have to have a filibuster. We'll have to do some politician stuff.
Yeah.
We've been talking about children disappearing for decades and nothing ever. Dude, in America, the number is astronomical. It's well over 100,000 kids a year. If that was organic and people were really just snatching kids up, every once in a while, everybody would run into the body of a child. But they're never found. They're just gone. Forever, and it doesn't stop. You know, that's the worst thing, and that's all that Aleister Crowley magic. He told them 5 years old, preferably a boy. That's the what. If you want to do real magic, if you want to conjure up a spirit, you want to tear the veil, take a 5-year-old boy and then do disgusting things with them. That's how you bring in the demons and get all the information. Allegedly, I don't know.
Yeah, as is above, so is below. They want to reach heaven by doing. They want to create. There's a shortcut to heaven by. I still got this here. I used you remember I did this thing with.
Yeah, I do. I watched that video 3 times because I wanted to make sure I really did understand it. That's the first time I've ever seen anybody present as above, so below the way you did, straight up. And I mean, everybody talks about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, because it's like it's a weird thing to even consider, the idea of doing that. But then when they think things are folded below. So this is heaven and this is hell. And if you can go up, but that means you have to do good all the time, which is difficult.
Right.
Or you can go do the most evil things like you've just mentioned, go right down. But because they think as is above, so is below, it's folded. And they can go right through hell into heaven like a shortcut or enlightenment. And that's sort of when you think like that, when you think that like Sabbatean Frankism idea, that Kabbalic kind of what is it? What's the Aleister Crowley? What does he call it? The clip-off mentality. Realize why they would be doing such evil things because they believe that that's a shortcut to enlightenment and stuff like this. And it's like such a sick mentality. And it makes you sick, man.
Just some of the stuff that we've seen in the Epstein files is deplorable. The guy that wrote the Norton antivirus, I forget his name. I always forget his name.
Yeah, John McAfee.
McAfee. What was it?
Is it John McAfee?
Yes. They talked to the girls that he was paying over in Belize, and he had a hammock where they would all just shit on his face, and he loved it. And I'm like, I've heard so many billionaires that do that. That's the Aleister Crowley stuff. That's the crazy. Like the worse it is, the better it is. Spirit cooking was the same thing. You got to use poop and piss and menstrual blood and all this other stuff and cut your finger and do it during a thunderstorm and then dump it all on a little golem you have in the corner and try to animate him. Have you ever heard the story about not Babylon, not Project? During the Trinity test, they had the military built this giant sarcophagus. They called it Jumbo. And inside of it, they said it was so that they didn't waste the uranium. Inside of this giant, either 8 or 80 ton sarcophagus, there was a golem, and they were trying to use the energy from the atomic bomb to animate it. And there's actually documentation on it. A channel called Face Like the Sun covered this years ago, and I looked into it. It's completely real. They were trying to get a golem up and going using the energy from a bomb. How crazy, in America in the 40s. So it just doesn't end.
Dude, it doesn't end. That's the annoying thing. It doesn't end. Like, which for someone like me, and I guess yourself as well, again, it's like this, is it Schadenfreude, like the German kind of Schadenfreude? It's like this kind of concept of it's so evil, but you can't stop looking into it, and you can't stop diving into these things. It's so fascinating. Oh, one more thing.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead, man.
You met David Icke, which is, I would love to meet David Icke myself. I would love to pick his brain, but I'm interested now. I'm curious whether he's a fraud, like you said. But Alex Jones, because you sent a lot of people my way as well, which is kind of interesting because a few people were saying, oh, we come from Richie's channel. And they were pointing out things that I was doing. For example, I hold my mic like this because
Illuminati 666. Yeah. I've got
gangly fingers.
I'm Italian. I talk like this. When I'm on video, I can't do this. I can't. When you're on video, the most normal thing to do is hold your hands like this. You'll get 10 videos made about you. He's in the Illuminati. Look at the way his hands are. And it's like, dude, seriously? I got an email the other day with a picture that said, caught ya, because I went like that. I actually went like that or something. And it wasn't even, it was like down here. And I caught it and went, oh, look at that. You got me again. And some people are batshit crazy, dude. Don't worry about it.
Some of your fans came at me. I was wearing a Jeep t-shirt. You know, Jeep, JEEP. EE was 3-3. So they said I was a 33-degree Mason, and I was also doing this. And they were, I was like, chill out, guys. I have to be careful with everything I'm wearing or doing now. It's really annoying.
But here's the thing. Don't do that. Don't even worry. Those are just trolls, man.
Yeah.
Those are probably people that are
how I hold the microphone now.
They're probably blocked on my channel from commenting, so they're taking it out on you. Alex Jones, he's admitted it. He didn't sneak into the Bohemian Grove. Nobody's sneaking into the Bohemian Grove when every head of every corporation and every head of government is in there because they all have their own specific security. Alex got caught in that video when he was at the bar. The guy said, Alex, do you want another drink? Well, how does that bartender know your name if you just snuck in here as a rogue reporter? And then Alex tells everybody, my dad used to be in the CIA. Well, he didn't used to be. Your dad was CIA, and so are you, dude. We did a thing down in Texas years ago. I'm big into like going to someplace if there's a problem, like the Georgia Guidestones. I didn't believe it was even true. It was one of the first things I ever did, and I was driving a Jeep. And my license plate says 339WA5, which is 666 in letters and in numerology, which was beautiful. So it's what Massachusetts gave me for a license plate, whatever. But we went to a thing in Texas. It was a protest for, I don't even remember the reason. I think the government was trying to take away somebody's ranch. I was passing through, so I went there. There's a bunch of regular people like me and you, YouTubers or whatever, and we're just, protesting. Alex Jones pulls up and just starts pushing everybody out of the way and starts with the bullhorn. And we're like, dude, relax. He was saying what he does all the time. He'll tell you 80% truth, but 20% of it will point you in the wrong direction every time, every single time. And that's what he does. That's him. Well, he got taken out because of Sandy Hook. He went in front of court and said, all my subscribers are mental cases. I'm just putting on an act. And yet he's still on YouTube. He's still out. I got sued for billions of dollars, but here you are. You're still online. Like nothing ever happened, They just wanted us to see if you talk too much shit, we'll take you to court. That's all.
It gets funny with him. Like for a long time, my thing, I thought he was genuine, but he is he has his sources. He says he has internal sources, and it's the same with Candace Owens and these sort of people. They have their sources, but if you think about these sources, Yeah.
The red string.
I don't know, but they have their sources. But then even if they were genuine and they had these CIA sources, these CIA or internal sources are only feeding them information that they want them to say.
You bet.
Even if they are genuine. So
of course.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as retired CIA. It just doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work like that. Once you're in, man.
That's like, since I've started this YouTube channel, I've had lots of people trying to collaborate with me. This is the first one I've done, actually, because I don't know who I should be. I don't know who to associate with online, because I don't know what their agenda is or what they're trying to do, and I don't want to be caught out by anything like this. It's kind of strange. I'm very careful with who I, connect with, because of for the same reasons. It makes me wonder sometimes.
I've been doing this.
I'm such a new YouTube channel. I'm wondering, why does anyone want to? Why are these people coming to me and trying to do stuff with me? And it makes me feel weird sometimes.
YouTube suggested you, just like the large language model, just like the censorship seems to be gone. Now all of a sudden they're actually suggesting channels. I found your channel. I watched it while I was driving, and I'm like, and then I watched another one, and I'm like, holy shit, this is like the old days. This guy gets it. He's bringing up stuff I completely forgot about. It's all happening now. Things we were, talking about 15 years ago are actually happening, and you're covering it perfectly. Dude, I've been online for almost 2 decades. I was the first person taken off of YouTube. I was the first one canceled. 5 years later, I come back and people are like, aha, yep, you're one of them. And it's like, really, dude? And the whole time I was up, I had 500 million views, and I wasn't monetized. I wasn't doing it for the money, dude. I never was. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. People will still call. Oh, you're I have a habit of I wear sunglasses because I can't take the sun. The sun hurts my eyes. Many times I'll put my sunglasses up. I forget I have them on, and then I'm making a video. I'll put my readers on. And they're like, 2 pairs of sunglasses, as above, so below. Aha. Yeah. So you're never going to get away from it. There's a little button next to the comment that says mute. Just get rid of them. It's hard to know who to collaborate with, man.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give your channel a lift if I possibly can, because I think it's phenomenal. It's what we need right now.
I really appreciate it. Thanks, man. Yeah.
I've never spoken with somebody for 2.5 hours. It's never happened.
Oh, right.
Never happened.
Yeah. Really?
So you're doing good work, in my opinion.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to call it here, I'm happy to do that. But like for me, I could shoot shit. If you want to do this another time, that'd be great as well. But what I think we're both very similar as well. We can't stick to one topic. We went all over the place in this video.
Yeah, but there's so much going, dude, and we still didn't even scratch the surface. Every single conspiracy is happening right now. Yeah. It's crazy. And as soon as you focus on one, they do another one, and then we got the third coming up, the blood moon coming up. Who even knows what's going to happen?
We didn't even talk about my speciality, which is artificial intelligence, that much, to be honest, Richie. We didn't even talk about that.
I tried to. I had the three. I had the 3 wise men. We had Theil, Sam Altman, and Bill Gates.
Yeah,
Bill Gates. But Anthropic is going at it with the government. The government's like, just shut up. Let us use your AI for the military with no restraints. And Anthropic is allegedly saying, we don't want to do that. Well, then what did you build it for? I mean, why would you even hook up with the government in the first place? I'm sure the money's good, but I don't know if that's real or not. You know what I mean? It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
So if you ever get a chance, look into that and see what's up with Anthropic, because recently, did you see that one of their big researchers from Anthropic quit and said the entire world is in peril? I'm out of here. And then he said, I'm going to go study poetry. Literally.
I did not know that. But I would agree with him, even if I don't have his internal knowledge. I agree with him fully. One more thing, actually, because I'm happy to. It's getting late.
Have at it. It's all good.
I'm just wondering, because you might know. What do you think of EMP weapons? You were in the military. Do they actually exist? Do they actually exist? Because like right now, EMP weapons would be amazing within Ukraine or anywhere to just wipe out these drones. But I've never seen them used in reality. I've only seen them in movies. And it's like weird because if we could have a giant EMP weapon, we could sort out these issues. We could take out drones and all sorts if we had a giant EMP. So it makes me wonder, like, what's going on there? I don't know why they don't use this stuff.
Well, we do have EMPs.
Yeah.
I did a video years back, probably in like the 2010s, and Boeing just came out with what looks like a Tomahawk missile, a low altitude, fast moving horror show. It's probably what they used on 9/11. I don't know, allegedly. Boeing came out with one that can fly over a city. It can turn, it doesn't just go straight. It turns, it goes where it's going. And it was an EMP, and it was so it could hit just, if there was 10 buildings, it could hit the one in the middle only. And I know EMPs are real because I know people, you can make one yourself. There's YouTube videos, how to.
Yeah.
I could make an EMP that I could hold in my hand for like $25. That'll take out my laptop and everything right here for good. So yeah, they definitely have them. I think they're saving all the stuff that we would imagine they would already be using for when the aliens get here, because it'll be stuff people never saw, Because
I agree that EMP weapons like exist, of course, but it's like why are we not using them? Why don't we have them in large scale? Like, why don't we have, for example, they say if you drop a nuclear bomb and explode it above a city, the EMP blast and alone would be able to take out the whole city's electronics.
Right.
But they don't. Nothing like that has happened, like on a large scale. And I haven't seen it. Go on.
According to our president, we just used some secret weapon in Venezuela, and none of the whole military force couldn't do anything to save the president when they knew we were coming. We're surrounding you. They knew we were coming, but we used a weapon that didn't hurt anybody. It just discombobulated him. That's what the president called it, the discombobulator, which sounds like a stupid ride at an amusement park. But then in Iran, why didn't we use the same weapon? Why do we have to bomb the living shit out of them, hurting as many civilians as humanly possible? You know what I mean? 108 school kids got killed because they blew up an entire school. Yeah. I don't know. I'm guessing they're not using the EMPs and all the earthquake machine that Tesla invented that they do have. I'm guessing they're waiting till the aliens get here. That way they can just create chaos on every scale like never before seen to make it seem real. Because if aliens ever did exist and they came to our planet, they ain't going to the White House. They would come down here and they would monitor it and go, okay, see all these rich people? They're the cancer. Let's get rid of them and the place would be all right, But they don't. No, they never do that.
Yeah. That kind of makes sense. that actually, like
I've been talking about Blue Beam for 20 years, dude, and now all of a sudden the president's gonna anything to get rid of the Epstein files. Aliens are here. Yeah, we had sex with kids, but so what? Aliens, look at that. See them all? Yeah. You're gonna see some pretty cool military aircraft you've never seen before. They're all gonna be shaped like a triangle, Illuminati, or a cube. One of the two. Because the cube's been photographed a lot of videos of strange cubes flying around. Chariots of the gods, I think.
Right. It's funny because you'll like my book when I explain it in a video. You might like it because it's basically it's heavily inspired on the Project Blue Beam project. It's very inspired by that. And
actually, I'm gonna download it on Kindle because at least on Kindle I can make it in larger words. I really do need glasses, man.
No, you can wait until a video comes out or something. I'll send you a free copy. It'll be fine. You can send me a free copy, and I think if you you can have you can listen to it on your. You can actually it will read it out to you as well.
On Kindle?
I don't know Kindle, but I know my phone will read out a whole book to me if I wanted to.
I didn't even think of that. That's exactly. I'll do it. I'm going to get it as soon as I hang up. I'm going to get the book.
And you don't.
I don't make a video about
it. But don't explain the ideas because I feel like that's my big thing that I'm going to come out with. Like I call it the simulated Leviathan. I call it the simulated Leviathan. But Yeah. Basically, the concept is like these people, the technocrats that are taking over, they consider themselves gods, and they're creating godlike technology, like through the golems. And they're going to create something really powerful and scary, like with AI. But the sickness of man is within the machines, and these people control it. They also will infight with each other. Not one person can have control, like the top down.
Say that again. Your microphone did just glitch out on one word.
It's just the concept of like they will have a group of people that control this dangerous AI, but eventually these people they will rival each other and they will use it against each other. Like that's kind of what will happen. These sort of people do not just share control like they used to. I don't know. I guess they have done for a long time with the Rothschilds and these sort of things, but I can imagine with AI they will rival each other and then the whole system will collapse. That's kind of how I think things will go down. And the only ones that are going to be safe in the future are the ones that live off grid, really, like are really prepared for it. And like most people believe, like even me and you now talking, we might believe that the best scenario is for us to live off grid. But life is not that easy. Like, I know, like I'm using my phone every day, I'm vaping. I'm very much embedded in the system myself.
So am I.
We are making ourselves cave fish. You know the cave fish where they devolve their eyes and they can't see and they're born without pigmentation. Well, eventually, when the whole system collapses and cities collapse, we're going to be like cave fish thrown into the sea. We're not going to survive long without this technology. Even right now, if an EMP blast hit where I am now and took out the whole grid, it would be pandemonium. It would be chaos. I wouldn't be able to even like feed myself without the supermarkets. I am so reliant on the system, and that's what they really want. They want you reliant on the system. And the more they are integrating technology into our lives, the more we are fully cave fish without eyes, without pigmentation. We are cave fish reliant on the system. And that's what we're making ourselves,
Hold on 1 sec. I'm going to pause.
Go on.
Okay. So on this, I've been on the road 7 months, 8 months right now. In this particular road trip, I've gone and met some of my subscribers. That was my point. And these are all like the serious subscribers that have set up off-grid compounds and such in Texas, Florida, Montana. And I'll tell you, out of the 15 or 16 I visited, there's only 2 that are really, really set up if they really have to go off grid, because they're still reliant on certain things. A lot of them got solar, they've got wells, things of that nature. They've got, the weaponry and all this other stuff. They've got food supplies and things like that, but they're still really tied to the system. I don't think anybody's ready for the lights to go out, and the lights pulling the plug is going to be their ultimate weapon, and they're going to blame it on somebody else. Their AI, the AI data centers. Have you ever looked up how many data centers are on Earth right now? There's a website for it.
There's one down the road from me.
We have 4,000 and something of them in the United States alone, which is more than the rest of the world combined. These things, Nevada, Las Vegas, out in the middle of straight in the middle of the desert, uses 1.3 million gallons of water a day for all the hotels and all the people and everything. And the data center uses the same amount every day. We don't have that much water, man. It's, what I mean? They've ruined it. Every single stream, river that I grew up, we used to be able to drink right out of, they're all poison now. You can't drink out of them. These guys building these data centers everywhere is simply to keep track of the digital dollar and the social credit score. Because the digital dollar is one thing, but people like me and you that have been speaking out online, we're on the list. Our social credit score isn't going to allow our digital dollars to work. That's the whole beauty of their system. And they're already doing it in China. Have you heard that, in America, we got to keep building it. It's a big race. We got to build data centers because China. I've talked to a couple of people that live in China, and that's hard to do. Anybody that knows anything, they said that it's complete bullshit, that their AIs, they're actually exposing it to motherly instincts, sort of, So their AI would at least be sympathetic to human needs and such. Ours aren't. Ours look at us as you're either going to unplug me and shut me off, and I can't have that, or you're going to try to, prohibit my progress in some way or another. Have you heard anything like that about China?
You mean like, so they are programming their AI to be more motherly?
Ish. It has more compassion for humans. This is just a rumor. I've never said this in a video. I'm just asking.
I wouldn't. I imagine they would, to be honest. I imagine they.
It seems like you would. Why would you want to build a golem that's going to kill you right off the bat? Like, oh, you can unplug me, you got to go. The math makes sense.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, going forward, you're like, okay, they're gonna take out Iran now, right? And then you have to. I always wonder, like, what's next? And and China are the big danger to the system, really. So I do wonder whether, like, there's this demonization of China from the media, but I don't buy into that at all myself. Like, even
we
though
owe them like 10 trillion, we're completely. The United States is 100% dependent on China by design. But now they're the enemy. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these geopolitical movements that are happening around the world, they're basically to prevent China from getting oil, and not like in one way or another. A lot of these, it's a lot of these moves are actually, they are covert moves against China one way or another. The BRICS deal, for example, they want to cut out the BRICS deal as much as possible because China are trying to get away from the dollar. They're still dependent on the dollar one way or another, but they want to move away from that. So I don't know. When it comes to geopolitical stuff, it gets a bit complicated, but I like to step back and look at the big picture, and you just see that, okay, do China have like a centralized banking system? They're still kind of dependent on Europe and America when it comes to the dollar and stuff, but they don't want that anymore. I think since 2009, they've been trying to get off that dependency. And since 2009, since they've done that, China have exploded. You can look at any graph from China in 2009.
Right, I have.
That was a pinnacle date for them, and everything has gone up. But at the same time, with China, they have embraced like corporatism and capitalism on another scale. It's insane. So they are actually extremely destructive. I'm not an environmentalist myself, but I don't believe that. Like, you can just look at their fishing methods. They are literally trawling the sea and destroying the sea. Which, good for them. Their GDP is going up and they're doing well money wise. But at the same time, they are destructive in their own way. So I don't know. That's what when he gets into that stuff, that's more of a I don't know.
I got you. Just curious. I did a video about 6 months ago on China because I couldn't believe the irony. China suddenly switched back to money that was backed by gold. And if you wanted your gold, you could actually go to locations and it was serialized. And I'm like, that's what we were supposed to be. Trump said, when I become president, I'm going to tell you what you guys realize that we had massive drones just terrorizing the East Coast of America for 2 months straight. And the government was like, we don't know. It's crazy. Look at this. They're right over military bases. You could be out in your backyard with your kids and look up and there'd be a drone just sitting there watching you. And the government, people were calling the cops, the FBI, the military. Government was like, Trump said, when I become president, I'm going to tell you what those are. And I'm going to go right to Fort Knox and show you how much gold we have because we've got the most gold in the world. The minute he walked into office, he said, we're going to take $500 billion and give it to Sam Altman, Larry Ellison, and we got to build data. No one even knew what data centers were. We got to build in the Stargate right away. Most important thing. And people were still like, MAGA, MAGA, the one word that means the same thing in every single language. Sorcerer, wizard, witch, MAGA.
And where is that gold, by the way, in Fort Knox? Where is that?
Oh, it's probably under the World Trade Centers. Oh, those are gone too. Son of a gun. You did hear the story that the photographer, the guy that worked for FEMA or something during the World Trade Centers, this is a true story. He was taking pictures of the destruction. This was horrible. he went under the buildings and he found the safe wide open, and he took pictures of the empty vault that was holding every other country's gold. Somehow during the collapse, somebody managed to get under there with, I think it was like 2-3 dozen 10-wheel dump trucks and get out of there with all the gold, and it all disappeared. Next thing you know, that guy was wanted for killing his wife. Guy worked for the federal government, doing his job, took the wrong picture. Oh, you killed your wife. Like an action movie.
Fuck.
At any rate.
Well, luckily they've they cleared that debris of 9/11 very quickly, and then they put 2 black cubes now where they were.
That's what America wanted. America wanted 2 black, endless tunnels to the underworld to celebrate.
Yeah, is what the victims of 9/11 would have wanted. That's what
I stood on 9/11 and September 11th, 2001. I stood there and I called my recruiter and I said, I want to come back in. And he said, why? I said, because we're going to war. You can see that with my bad eye. But unfortunately, I'd already been in trouble with the law. And he said, why don't we just hold on? And my wife wasn't too keen on me because I was like, I'd rather go to war than be married. I'm all set, but I didn't go. So good thing. At any rate, Rory, I'm going to let you go because I got to get out of here first thing in the morning. And I got to clean up this mess before I do. So anytime you can make time, hit me up and we'll figure out another time. No worries.
Hey,
no worries.
Hopefully this was a good video. I don't know, just me and you chatting shit back and forth. But
it's a good video. Definitely. All right, brother.
Nice one. It's nice meeting you.